Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
We on? Yes, we are on. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today for the meeting of the Penobscot County Commission of July 23rd, 2025. Call to order and roll. Commissioner Tremble.
Present.
Commissioner Marshall.
Present.
Mr. Treasurer.
Treasurer is absent this
He is
week.
absent today, and the chair is here.
He's at the dentist.
Great. At this point, I will ask Commissioner Marshall if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Most honored. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
At this point, it's not on the agenda, but we would like to recognize the passing of one of our key employees, Donna Darling, and we would ask for a moment of silence in honor of her. Thank you very much.
Commissioner,
Yes.
the Sheriff, if he wanted to say a couple of words.
Yeah, Sheriff, would you care to make any comments regarding the tremendous service you gave us?
Sure. Are we supposed to stand somewhere in this place?
You are welcome to sit at the bench here if you would like to, or I believe that the owl unit is picking
I'll
up.
just stand right here.
Okay.
I'm going to be extremely brief. 36 years, this is the second time, maybe the third time I've ever stepped into this office or courtroom, so it's different. I like the commissioners being down here. I'm not so sure about the HR director being on the phone. That's making us all of us extremely nervous. Thank you for taking a moment to recognize Donna. Donna was an incredible asset to our agency, 30 years this month working. I did not know this, but she was a reserve police officer, I learned, for about 6 months or less. And then she was wise and decided to come to corrections. So Donna was, if you all knew her, big smile on her face. She started in the jail as a part-time correctional officer. She went to become a full-time correctional officer in the jail. She worked in programs. She's another one of the folks that looked at the opportunities that the sheriff's office does give people in a career path to allow them to do different things. And she went into programs. She was a security supervisor, and she kind of shocked at the time. It was, I think Sheriff Ross was converting from chief deputy to sheriff, and Donna came and saw us, and our kitchen was always civilian cooks in the kitchen. And Donna came to us and breached the idea of having somebody who had correctional experience take over our kitchen. And Donna came in and took over that job and really changed its relationship. She's compassionate about working with some of the inmates there, giving them some guidance. She helped a lot of officers through the times that they have fed our inmates and staff for years. I still smile these days because she was so determined to make sure that we stayed in budgets in a time that was incredibly difficult. Folks don't think about the kitchen, right? When you're running a correctional facility, it's probably the last thing that you think of, that you're serving 200-300 people a day, meals with a population that could go up and down 30 or 40. A little bit like being in the restaurant business. Sometimes you just don't know. She did it with grace, and she's going to be deeply missed by all of our staff. She was just in sometimes a dark place. She was really kind of a nice light bulb. So we appreciate it. We have communicated with her family. HR, I do want to commend you and your team for helping work with her. Jimmy and our other staff in the kitchen are doing a tremendous job right now, keeping down the fort and communicating with her family. As you know, this came on pretty sudden, medical event, which was stunning to all of us. We did meet with her daughter last week who came in, and they will let us know about a more private service. That's what they would like, but we will reach out and let you folks know what that means to us and our organization. But thank you again, all of you, for taking time and recognizing that.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Just adjusting the the center of the camera.
Okay. While you're doing that, I would seek approval of the minutes for the July 2nd, 2023 meeting.
I move we approve the minutes of July 2nd.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Seeing that, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. At this point, do we have anyone present that would like to make public comments on items not on the agenda? We allow up to 3 minutes for that process. Do we have anyone online that we know of?
We do not.
We do not. All right, at this point, we will close the public comment section and we will move into UT, who has kindly filled our agenda with several important activities here. Some of which
We're just here to help.
I understand. Well, we appreciate that, Drew. We're slightly early for the time noted for the public hearings, but I suspect you have a couple other items you might want to cover.
We could start with a fire and ambulance agreement with the town of Lincoln for T2RA. It's mostly interstate work. They haven't increased the price on that contract in 3 years, so we're very pleased with that. But they don't get a lot of calls in that particular section of the interstate.
Great. So we would entertain a motion to approve the new contract for coverage of the interstate.
I would so move.
Second?
I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is unanimous.
Thank you.
Next item that you might have.
The liquor license for Five Lakes Lodge, we're not ready to present that right now. It didn't come through,
Okay.
so we can take that off the agenda.
All right.
And the liquor license for Madigan and Wilderness, there are no reported problems in the area, so we'd recommend reinstating their license at Madigan and Wilderness.
All right. So we have a request to approve the liquor license for the Madigan Wilderness Lodge.
I would move we approve.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Other interesting things going on, George?
We are still working to find a spot to build a salt sand shed in Kingman. Right now, we're doing a lot of site review, and we're having some problems with some wet areas. So we've got to work around those wet areas in order to come up with the exact spot to build that on land we already own, right there by our fire station. So we're still working forward with that. We've had to meet with a soils engineer in order to define which areas we can build on and which ones we can't. It's a fairly wet site once you get away from the fire station. We haven't started paving yet, but we're ready to pave. Everybody's ready. We're just waiting for them to find the time to be able to pave. Right now, there's a large pavement operation going on at the airport, so all the pavement trucks and companies are working towards finishing that. Once they start making that airport mix, they don't make anything else, so.
And for those of us who occasionally have to fly to Bangor, we're grateful that.
Yeah, grateful for that, exactly. Yeah, it's a 24-hour, 7-day job right now until they finish this piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, big job. So we will be paving once they free up some trucks.
Good.
But other than that, everything looks good.
Well, you can, anything interesting? Okay.
You get the notification, I think it's the Tar Ridge Road is the only one that I'm assuming would affect us.
Yeah, that Metagogus Bridge, they've been, I don't know, I'm still trying to find out what year they hope to do that. This is still in the preliminaries. The engineering company is just beginning to design, but they will need your approval to use the Tar Ridge Road as a detour. But until I know what year, I don't know if it's this year or next, or 2 years down the road. They're quite a ways out on their design plans. And then I'll come to you for approval to use the Tar Ridge Road. Tar Ridge Road just happens to be, that piece of the Tar Ridge Road happens to be a little over 2 miles, and we're paving a mile of it this year. So I'm glad we're doing that, because it'll make it a lot smoother road for all the traffic, but there's gonna be a lot of traffic across that newly paved road. So, like I say, I'm still researching it with the engineer to find out when they think they might do this project.
What's the average years that you go for between paving? I know there's a certain criteria, but.
We've got a 15-year paving plan, but it winds up being 12 to 14. But some go 18 because they're not broke up. So, but our actual capital plan to spend paving money is a 15-year plan.
15, okay.
And it rotates every year. It's not our Bible. We look at the road that was scheduled to be done this year, and if there's something else worse, we'll do that and bump it back a year. So it's a rotating 15-year plan.
George, what is the total number of paved road we have in the UT?
53, I think, right now.
53, and what is the amount of maintained roads, the exclusive of the 53?
71, 70-something, 73.
So 73,
I think we're at 20 miles of
126 miles.
20 to dirt or whatever. Yeah.
What do you?
I just got a question on the upkeep and time. Probably a dozen years or so ago, in the UT, there was a pavement area on an incline, and the pavement slid, and they
Yeah.
repaved it. Has that held up?
It has.
Yeah.
We milled that out. It was work done under warranty because it's.
Right, they did it, they took
Yeah.
care of it.
And they milled that out 2 inches and put down 2 inches of a 19-millimeter binder, which is held up great. I mean, it's really held up really well.
Where was that?
It was in Greenfield on Cemetery Hill, the big hill
Yeah,
in
wow, that's
Greenfield.
good memory.
Yeah.
I remember that back.
That was quite a process. They came in and worked with us on
Yeah,
it.
they were good.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost there.
Well, with the special amusement permits, that's an ordinance that we made many years ago to match the state liquor license ordinance, except for one thing. The special amusement permit mandates that we have a public hearing before each special amusement permit. And in the liquor license, after you've had your liquor license with no problems for 5 years, you don't have to have the public hearing anymore. So we're hoping in the future to come to you and get you to help us, work with us to match the liquor license, so that after they've had a special amusement permit for 5 years and they haven't had any recorded problems,
Wait,
we wouldn't have to have the public hearing. But that's for another day, but that's one of the things we'd like to work with. That's why you're seeing all these public hearings here.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And that's in our policy language?
It's our policy.
So, yeah, just, retract
We could
that.
change
the next
that
meeting,
policy.
and we can bring it for work, for a presentation.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
we can streamline that process, make
But we will
it
hold
easier
it.
for you.
As we, a couple of years ago, I think, amended things so that the administrator can sign on our behalf.
Yeah, yeah, and that helps. That helps. We don't have to give you guys as much paperwork.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate everything you do to try to make the system more streamlined. I think we are
I got
entering
it, yep.
the 10:15. Just as a note, the clock is off there.
Yeah, that's why we're not looking at it.
I understand. Some of us are. So with that, I will open the first public hearing regarding the special amusement permit Class B and D for the Knife's Edge Brewing Company. Are there any who wish to speak in favor of the permit?
This permit is all three are owned by the same people, so we could have the same public hearing
That will work.
for all three. The 10:15, there's
Yep.
three of them.
Yeah, I see that. So we will then open the hearing that includes the Katahdin Resort Event Center and the River Drivers Restaurant, which I believe are all owned by the same
Owned by the
entity.
same guy. Yep,
But the Five Lakes Lodges is a separate
that's a
entity.
different deal.
Yeah. And then we have a liquor license, which we'll hold separate from the special amusement permits. So with that, we are now open for any public comments regarding the three special amusement permits for the same entity operating under different names. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor? Do we happen to have anyone online?
No.
Okay. Hearing none, any that wish to speak in opposition to the special amusement permit applications? Hearing none, are there any who wish to speak neither for nor against on the special amusement permit request? Seeing none, we will close the hearing, entertain a motion regarding the three Class B and D amusement permits.
We move we grant the three special amusement permits?
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion of the commission? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. At this point, we will open the public hearing. Well, technically, we're still a little early on that one, too. And you said we have nothing on the Lakes Lodge at this point for their liquor license?
No, just that public hearing for their amusement permit. Knife's Edge is a liquor license renewal.
Okay. Well, not wanting to waste time, and in consideration that the individuals for the liquor license for Knife's Edge did not present anything on the special amusement permits, I'm going to open the hearing.
This is no objection from other commission.
Any objection? Okay. Hearing none, we will now open the public hearing for the liquor license renewal for the Knife's Edge Brewing. Anything to report on the liquor side, George?
No complaints reported, so.
I don't see the sheriff jumping up, so he must be in concurrence with it.
And I want to thank Chief Knapp for being so easy to work with. You send him information, he gets right back to us. He's helped us a great deal.
Thank you for that. At this point, anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the liquor license? Anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Anyone who wishes to speak neither for nor against? Hearing none? No one online?
Yes, sir.
All right, at this point, I will entertain a motion regarding the liquor license renewal for Knife's Edge Brewing.
I move we approve.
Have a motion to approve.
Wait a second, I have a technical question. I don't know
Okay.
if this is above your capacity. But do we need to close the public hearing to take these motions? Can we do this during the public hearing, or do we need to close the public hearing?
Thank you for that clarity. I will close the public hearing if I didn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yep. It's always good to have someone looking over your
Okay,
shoulder.
yeah.
So with that, the public hearing is closed. We have the motion. Do we have a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is unanimous on the Knife's Edge Brewing liquor license. And at this point, I think we could also open the public hearing on the Class B amusement permit for Five Lakes Lodge. Anything to report there, George?
No registered complaints.
Okay. And this has been in place for a number of years, I
Yes.
suspect.
And they do a really good job. They're a good group of people. They're working hard to make something out of nothing up there, and they've done a good job.
That's great. So at this point, I would entertain any public comments in relation to this special amusement permit, Class B permit for Five Lakes Lodge. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor? Anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Any who wish to speak neither for nor against?
Quiet crowd today.
They're very, very passive. With that, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion regarding a special amusement permit Class B for Five Lakes Lodge.
I would move we approve the permit for Five Lakes Lodge.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion of the commission? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Thank you for your reports and your work. We look forward to the proposed policy review.
Chair, I don't see the DEA's office here.
I texted them. I didn't know they were coming up.
Well, I was gonna say with the sheriff's group here, if you wanted to move him up.
Yeah, Sheriff, I see that we have an opportunity to elevate your report if you'd like to come
Oh,
forward.
sure. I didn't know I was gonna report, but I was informed that I'm on the agenda.
Pretrial services, pretrial coordinator, and pretrial specialist job description and wage scale review.
That's a lot. I didn't know we had that on here. I'm looking at the good HR coordinator up there. Let me just do this. Let me just review to tell you where we are. We've posted, it closes today. We have job descriptions. We have a rough snapshot at some pay scales. I think that's some stuff that we need to work on there a little bit. We've had great meetings with Maine Pretrial themselves. They're very disappointed that we're changing, but I think they understand the mission of why we're doing this. I'm going into all of these meetings with why. Why are we doing pretrial services? Does everybody understand it? Because that was some of the issues that we had, is there wasn't a clear expectation as what does Maine pretrial do that bail does not do? For example, if you stopped, I asked this blatant question, if we stopped Maine pretrial today, or pretrial services completely, would those 100 people come back into jail immediately? The answer was no. This program is supportive to bail, to try to help folks that are outside on bail stay on the path to whatever that path is for them. They're in school, they're in treatment, they're sitting on a couch, they might be working, all of these things that they could be doing. It's kind of the hand on the shoulder approach. Some people need a harder hand, more check-ins. We have a philosophy difference with pretrial services to how many check-ins and things like that. We also have a philosophy difference on that people should be accountable to pay in some. So this is what I've done. We met with Kaylee Folster, our private defense counsel. We also met with Logan Perkins, who is the new chair, or co-chair is the wrong word, but she's overseeing the public defender's office here in Bangor to get their expectations. We're working with the DA's office in Chelsea. I'll be meeting with her. We've had some email communication. What are they looking for? And this Thursday, I'm meeting with the judges alone and the court alone. I didn't want them influenced by us or others to say, what does the judge expect out of this? A judge says, I support a pretrial contract. What does that mean to the judge? Do they believe that there's more check-ins being done? With the Robbins rules and other things that are happening, we felt like this is the right thing to do. Maine pretrial has been very good through this. Obviously, again, they're disappointed that we're separating ways, but they've been supportive in our concept. They actually like some of the newer ideas that we've brought forward. There is technology out there that will allow us to do more compliance checks without actually always putting a physical body out there. There are platforms. I'm a little disappointed that I'm only learning this now that we're separating, that wasn't an option before. So I saw 2 vendors again while I was at the National Sheriff's Conference that showed us this. This is not big money stuff. That really is a great platform. I was pleased with the Defense Council. They're encouraged by the potential use of electronic monitoring. Arguably, we may take a greater chance of releasing somebody knowing that there's more accountability of where that person is. The downfall for a little bit for the program in the past is, at one time it was reported out that there were 150 people in the program. There were 51. They had no idea where they were. And that's concerning to me, because if us, the county, the sheriff, the courts, the judicial system is saying we're going to have bail and we're holding people accountable on the outside, that there's some check-ins. We know that this is an at-risk population. You're gonna have some people that disappear. It's a little more difficult when you have a transient population too. Those are all challenges, but we shouldn't have 50 people that we don't know where they're at all. That's not an effective path. So again, that's where we're at. This is going to close. We're continuing to work with them. We've built policies, and on top of that, Maine pretrial share their policies with us. It's the things that we probably disagreed on a little bit that we're changing. The screening tools will be very similar. The thought process of getting people out is going to be very similar. I think we had to work with defense and make them know, like, our intent is not to put people in jail. It's not to change our processes, to make sure that we're holding people accountable so that they're successful if the criminal justice system decides to bail them out. So I think it's positive.
The 2 months.
Yeah, so they gave, I asked them for 6 months, right? And they told us they would give us 2 months, which is, it's okay. So we'll get through it. We have a couple hurdles because there's some technical things that I can't tell them. It's them.
It's them.
They're watching still. All of these bails went out with a contract that says Maine pretrial contract. So there's some technical things that the state of Maine court system is working on to say, how do we convert those to the, we're going to call it the Penobscot County Correctional Release Program, because I want to include PACE in this. I had a great conversation unrelated that happened to be at an event yesterday, or a search warrant, and I met with probation officers who are looking for places to divert people to a program because they may not have them. PACE is a great opportunity for programs to prevent. hearings that they may be able to have folks come to. It was great that defense said, how about a pretrial person who's not sentenced, who I'm trying to make sure that they're following some guidelines of their bails? Could we let them come to PACE? I'm really excited. I think PACE is going to really grow. I need a space to do that, even temporarily. I know that we're talking long-term, but I can't wait long-term. We need shorter-term. We're going to have a space to do this if we want this to work. But I'm encouraged by it. I'm really encouraged by, honestly, the collaboration. So,
I would just add that because they've reduced our time frame to the 2 months, that's why we decided to post so we can start getting those applicants. Knowing that it's going to take at least 2 months to get someone on staff. So what you have in your packets are the job descriptions that we've developed in coordination with the sheriff and his team for both the coordinator, which is the supervisor level, and then 2 specialists, in a wage scale that we thought was appropriate while being respectful of the corrections officers and the intake staff, making sure those are all properly treated fairly.
Is this outside of any contractual?
It is because, and I guess my goal here is to look at this division a little bit like civil. It's really its own division, because potentially, I don't have to have certified correctional people work in this. I don't have to have law enforcement work in this. Those backgrounds and those certifications may absolutely benefit us in this. If I had somebody that has law enforcement credentials, when you're doing a compliance check, there may be, that might be totally appropriate. It might help us build our bridges. We have some frustration by our local law enforcement. I forgot to mention them. They were piecing this too. I reached out to them. I said, what do you think this is happening? You're not going to be shocked by their response. It wasn't very positive, because they don't see that there's less they felt less accountability. And what do? We can't violate a pretrial contract. Some of it just needs to be education. Like, the contract really is not the whole. You have the bail conditions that you can take care of or enforce bail conditions regardless of any contract. So some of this is education. It's an older program. Our thought process is, with a tremendous change in our criminal justice system, particularly when it came around bail, this just needed to be tweaked just a little bit. It's a great program. It makes sense. We can do a few things, potentially reduce some of the amounts of bail violations that we see by simply having a little more compliance, so somebody doesn't fall into a violation that they don't need to occur. So I do.
Do we have to set up a separate entity, and have we checked with legal if that's the case?
Is it not a separate entity? I mean, this will, it's to me, it's just another division of the sheriff's office. I do think at some point we're probably going to have to talk to both of the unions to say, like we did with clerical, right? So we had some clerical people, like the county has clerical, but you're mixed with maintenance or others. So for the union to allow people to be part of a union, we may talk to both of them to say, where does this really make sense that it goes? But to me, there's no reason.
Yeah, it does, and because it's more enforcement related, does it go under the FOP contract? But yet it's a jail function, so does it go in the corrections contract? We haven't really hit that step.
You mentioned that there's a Maine pretrial that's listed on the contracts. Are those with the court system, or is that?
With the courts. So I'm leaving that up to Amanda. She's been amazing from the state of Maine. She's a wonderful person and an important role for us. I'm glad that the judges want to speak this. That's really just a technical thing. Can they do a wide sweeping order that says all pretrial contracts labeled this are now this? Right. So do they have to bring every person in to change them out? To you, I think was important, I want to share this, is that some of the data that they were sharing with us is a little disappointing, that when we really got into the weeds with them, is when we looked at the savings to you from these reports, where it says we have X amount of people out on Maine pretrial. That means we're saving you, saving you this much money. That's why the investment of what we pay into the program made sense, right? Because we're diverting the people. But when there were 50-something people that we didn't even know where they are at, I felt like they shouldn't have ever been part of this plan if we didn't even know where they're at. You can't straight face say they were going to be in jail. You don't even know where they are.
Some of them might be in jail.
No, if they violated, we would know. But nevertheless, I'm positive. We've had great meetings with our staff. It's a lot of work. But the end question from outsiders that don't understand this is, what's the overall impact to the safety of the community? It's going to strengthen it because there's going to be more compliance. What's the overall impact to the jail population? It's going to be about the same. I'd like to say, well, we may be able to let 10 or 15 more people out in this because the DA may feel comfortable now saying, okay, I'm a little more comfortable letting this person go because we're going to put electronic monitoring out on these cases that we really should have had it the whole time. When you have the defense agreeing with us on that, like, well, I could argue that now, like, take a chance, like, we'll put electronic monitoring. And by the way, they even agree to fees. There's a small fee for that electronic monitoring. And so I thought those were all positive steps, trying to do it together. Ultimately, it's gonna be our decision, but I just felt like the feedback and a collaboration made more sense rather than forcing the program out there.
Two thoughts. One, does the Board of Visitors currently extend to some oversight of this program?
No.
Would there be value in having a board?
Zero. No. The Board of Visitors is identified in statute to be very clear that their role is to the oversight of mental health services. I and several other sheriffs have extended that far beyond that to allow them, when they're discussing operations in the jail, to talk about canteen services, how to get a haircut, because one would argue these are things that could impact your mental health if you're incarcerated, right? Whether your medical service is good. That's not in statute, and we've allowed for those things to happen. They can ask questions about that. The scope doesn't need to go beyond that. Outside, this is a program outside. Okay.
I don't want to create any more needs for you to have meetings, but
I appreciate that.
if there were ways that this could be valuable, I just throw out there. Is there a possibility that an extension of the program to notify victims would be helpful?
I appreciate you bringing that up. I am disappointed, as you heard me mention in the past, about the victim notification, electronic victim notification not being funded. I've spoken to several groups. Matter of fact, I was really encouraged by one individual who stepped up to the other day and said, "We've got to make this happen," and offered to make a fairly substantial donation to try to make this happen. Folks, this is $12,000 to Penobscot County. It's not a $100,000 project, it's not $1 million project. $12,000 funds our ongoing pilot project that allows victims, witnesses, and others to be notified when somebody's released from jail. We are the only state in the country that does not have electronic victim notification. Let me extend this to beyond victims and witnesses. What if you're one of the 5, 10, or 15 calls that I get almost every week from a family member who's very concerned about their loved one who's getting out of jail? Their mental health status, their substance abuse status, others. That family member could tag somebody on this to be notified that they've been released from jail. How powerful is that? Why do we have 400,000 views on our inmate search on our mobile app? Some, I say this in tongue-in-cheek, it's rubbernecking, you want to see who's in jail. But there's an awful lot of people on there that care about their family who's in jail. And there's an awful lot of victims, witnesses, and by the way, just a neighbor. What if it was your neighbor that had a very disruptive, dangerous event? There is no statute, there is nothing that would ever notify you that that person's been released. We had an incident where a school teacher who was an associate victim, she wasn't the direct victim, but she was part of a very serious incident. An individual was arrested, taken away. It was a criminal threatening case. The victim was notified when that person was released. The associate witness had no notification. The man involved showed up at the school. And the fear that that put into a teacher that had no notification, that couldn't prepare for this, caused great impact on her ability to be effective at that school for some time. So a simple project. I'm very, very disappointed in our legislators. We have funded and funded and funded programs to help those with substance abuse, mental health, all kinds of programming, and we couldn't find $100,000 to cover the entire state for this program, $12,000 to Penobscot County alone. Right now, we are one of 4. that are a pilot project running this program. We've had hundreds and hundreds of people already register. That's how
So how are we funding it right now?
Vine is funding it for free.
Okay, is it through your office, is it VWA's
Through
office?
us.
Yeah.
And Penobscot be 12,500?
Yes.
What are the current methods of notification?
So this would never change the existing law that's in effect. There's a process that there are a limited amount of statute violations, particularly domestic violence and other related domestic crimes, violence crimes that said if an individual is arrested, they're brought to jail, law enforcement has a responsibility to provide certain information to the jail. The jail has certain responsibilities to do notification manually. That will never change. Those are very related, those are very specific, those are in statute, and we would not change that. There are so many more that go above and beyond. I mean, your home could be invaded, you could be the victim of a robbery, and there's no standard that says, I'm gonna catch you. Our victim witness folks through the DA's office, amazing folks, amazing. They're always trying to do that with victims and witnesses and trying to do notifications, but they may not have the minute to minute. This is live. I went down and sat and take myself and did this, really sitting people to court one day. We went in there. I can go in, Tony could go in anonymously and say, I don't want to put my name, I don't want to put my address. I just simply want to be notified if this person got released, so I know. And you simply get a text message. It's all public information. We're not treading on any incarcerated individuals' rights. By statute, we're required to do admissions and release information if anybody asks. So it's sharing that information. I appreciate you sharing this, and I'm sorry to go off on it, but it's one that really bothers me because we've invested so much as a state to do stuff for folks that need help, and we've turned our backs on victims. And I say this often, I'm probably an old cop who spent most of my life protecting victims, and for some reason the state has forgotten. And this is a prime example of something that was very easily fixed. I hope a private company comes forward, at least for our county. I hope it comes statewide, but perhaps a private company comes forward and said, we think doing something right for victims in Penobscot County. Again, there are 4 counties doing this right now.
I think the pendulum of victim rights needs to swing toward the victims.
It should be in the middle, and it doesn't need to be one side or the other. We should treat all the same.
Thank you,
It would
Sheriff.
probably be worth, if we don't currently have anything, looking into what the process would be for the county to accept any donations for programs of this nature. Maybe we could check with legal to see what would need to be done.
I already have 2 accounts, one that might cover it. I have one that's specific to domestic violence that's already in place that we currently utilize. We're one of only a few places that, no questions asked. Law enforcement can call us in the middle of the night. Rape response calls me in the middle of the night. I need funds for a hotel stay. I need $50 in gas money. We have an account that has come solely from private donations, has nothing to do with our budgets at all. We've paid for motel stays, gas cards, foods. The common one is a cell phone because they want to switch the number quickly. And we do that, we provide that. Bangor PD is one that uses us often. But that's a place that could, if we're just looking for a place, money in, money out, as a pass-through, that it could land. Again, but this is for down the road, but I appreciate giving us the opportunity to talk.
I think we should just check, because there are certain tax designations that may permit those to be officially listed as a donation for tax purposes for some companies, and that could also put us in a sphere of more regular, significant corporate support for those things. Not that we
Aisha, I was gonna run a bake sale to see if we can get the money.
I don't know who's gonna bake.
Sure, but I'm saying, when you get into some of these larger or ongoing expenses, if there is the proper tax designation, it can be helpful to what we're looking to do.
Sheriff, what would the timeline be? What would your optimum timeline be for implementation of these changes?
For Vine or for pretrial?
Pre-trial.
Pretrial, obviously, we're gonna have to try to hit the 2-month mark. I don't believe Maine pretrial is gonna cut our feet off if we don't have people in there by then, but 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months.
I think we probably will end up in a hybrid situation. I was a little uncomfortable. They offered us a deal to talk about a hybrid that allowed us to do the enforcement and then to do the administrative part. But I kind of felt like now you're gonna be paying 4 or 5 people, that I could potentially do this in 2 to 3 people. So while I appreciate the partnership, and I still look, hopefully that we can work with Maine Free Travel as we go along, but 2 to 3 months on that. Vine is in, if you were talking about that one, Vine victim electronic notification is in place working right today. I am working with our mobile app. I learned at National Sheriff's that our mobile app that we currently pay for has the ability to take an immediate link in from Vine. So if you did go to our inmate search, there is a toggle switch right to the side that you just click on that toggle and you can be hyperlinked right in to register. It's a nice feature, very popular in the Midwest. As this program out there has been running for years, and again, we're the last state to have it.
Well, we hate to see you away, but you have brought back some incredibly valuable tidbits and contacts from your time.
It is, I think it is. There's time that we look at how much it pulls us away, but when we're looking at the national level of what's happening, having our voice out there is important. But yet, looking at the resources that are available and knowing the things that we're doing, and I could go on, but
Yeah.
Matt, for example, when I looked at medical assisted treatment, this is a national program. Medical assisted treatment for substance use in county jails. We are so far ahead of greater parts of the state that just blew me away. To think, wow, we've had this in place for 10 years. I met dozens of sheriffs there must have been 60 sheriffs in the one class that have never even started there. We've had it for a decade or more. So there are certain things we're way ahead of, and there's other things we're like, wow, we're so far behind in certain areas. So again,
Thank you. And I'll just express my lack of surprise that there was not enough money, but great disappointment that an agency for victims spoke against funding this. That to me, that NACASA would come out publicly and oppose it without communicating was disappointing to watch.
Some of that is purely, it's tough. A lot of these groups, and I'm with you, I'm disappointed, but a lot of these groups live on grant funding. They live on your ARPA money. They live on the opioid monies. They live on domestic violence monies. Maine sheriffs were very upfront with them to say, we do not want to go to apply for federal VOCA money to pay for that program, because if we were able to get that money, we may take money away from our smaller organizations right here in this area. We didn't want to do that. We wanted it to be separate, so we didn't hurt those organizations that are doing great work. It was more of a financial decision than it was a process decision.
Either way, I was disappointed, but thank you for your time and your explanation on those subjects. Thank you, Tony. Any further contribution? We're ready to on to the DA. Thank you, gentlemen.
Hi, wow, I
Good
love
day.
the space. Looks
You feel at
great. You
home.
all look wonderful here.
Forced out of
It's
it.
already done, you don't have to sell it anymore, stop.
I feel like I'm being brought up like Thanksgiving turkey.
What's that I smell?
All right, so today you want to speak
Morning.
about the second floor, former commissioners' chambers, renovations and conversion update, and an RFP for contractor services that I believe Mr. McDonald will join you on too.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, well,
Take it
first, I just have to say that we have wireless internet at the courthouse now, which is like amazing. And it took so long. I know Mark and Christine worked on it for like 2 years before I became deputy. I worked on it literally from the first day I became deputy to like 3 weeks ago when we got it.
okay.
It's so awesome, and it's all because of IT, county IT. They helped so much. Brandon was like a lifesaver.
Cool.
I don't know why, the court and the state, they were just being like obstructionists about it, honestly. But we have it now, thanks to IT, and it's awesome. It's way better than using like the public guest Wi-Fi, so I just wanted to say that.
So this is a closed Wi-Fi just for?
Yes, only for the DA's office. No one else can get on it. And it's so easy to access. I was worried that it was gonna be like a pain. We were not gonna have trouble like getting on, but it's been super easy. It works and it's awesome.
Okay,
So the space, Brian can help me here, because I don't really know exactly what I'm talking about, but
It's
RFPs
never stopped me.
are done, yeah, it's not gonna stop me either. So from what I understand, the RFP for the work is done now.
Okay,
The furniture is apparently, WB Mason has like an approved list of furniture that we can choose from, so that's all set.
I'm seeing nods.
Oh, good, okay, great. So, that's,
You're doing a great job.
oh, good. So hopefully, we'll be ready to move soon.
My only suggestion, even with state pricing, is that when you get a listing, we should get a quote from them of what you want, what's the price, the ultimate price is gonna be to bring back for approval prior to purchasing.
This is not a budgetary item, but somewhere
Right,
within your
right.
magic, you've been able to.
Right, so what this does is it allows us to possibly bypass the RFP process. However, due diligence is if it comes back and it's like, we may want to or need to reach out for a couple other quotes too. So just keep that in the back of the
Okay.
mind, okay? On the back burner.
Yes. Okay, so that's basically all I have for an update on that.
Okay.
Okay. So discovery management, that's really what I'm here to talk about.
Okay.
So right now, currently for our discovery, we use kind of a mix. We use ShareFile for the bulk of our discovery. So all police reports go into ShareFile. A lot of video goes into ShareFile, like say something is captured on a Ring camera, that would likely go into ShareFile. But then police departments that have video have a lot of times their own discovery storage system too. So there's like a WatchGuard login that Bangor Police Department has, Brewer Police Department has, State Police has a different video format that requires its own player, so they have their own system. So discovery is kind of like in multiple places, but most of it is in ShareFile. The problem with all of these is that they're really just storage systems. They're not like meant to be giving out discovery. So they're just meant to hold, they're like the equivalent of like, say, a Dropbox or iCloud, something like that. It's just meant to hold. So we are using it to give out discovery, like WatchGuard, for example. We send a link to the defense attorneys. They have to download the content from that link within 30 days or the link disappears.
Okay.
The other thing about that is, say that you're the lead officer for Bangor PD, you upload your body cam, we send the WatchGuard link, and then the other 4 officers that responded upload their body cam a week later. That link does not include those 4 new videos. You have to send another link, and then the defense attorney has to make sure that they know there's 2 links. They have to download both to have all the video. Places like Rudman, they navigate it well, but most of our defense attorneys are solo practitioners, and they really struggle with downloading the video. It's just a pain. It's really a hassle to do. We used to download it for people and give it on like discs, but it's just not feasible to do that now because it just takes forever. I mean, downloading one case can take 8 hours. So it's easier for prosecutors because we can log into the police department system and watch it online. So we don't have to download 10 hours of video. We can look at what we need to look at and log out, and that's it. But, we can't give defense attorneys access to all that, of course.
I suspect you have a solution somewhere for
Well,
us.
I have had a solution for a long time, but I didn't think it was gonna go anywhere. But
Okay.
luckily, well, not luckily, unfortunately, the price of ShareFile has increased dramatically this
Okay.
year. So, ShareFile was way cheaper. It was, for Penobscot and Piscataquis, it was like $5,000.
Okay.
It really was never gonna be sustainable. For the whole state is going through this because ShareFile increases with space. So the more space you need, the more the price is. It was gonna be a slow problem, but it was gonna be a problem eventually because we can't delete stuff really for a long time. So now though, they've been bought out. So the price for Penobscot and Piscataquis is gonna be about $20,000. And we're still gonna have the problem of it's gonna increase. because we're always gonna need more space, especially with more video and more departments having video. So there are basically two discovery management systems that are like the main systems. One is Axon. Kennebec has already.
As in the same company that we get tasers and other.
Yeah, probably. They're like a law enforcement.
AXON.
Yes, AXON. Kennebec switched because everybody in the state is going through this issue right now. And what the Kennebec DA sent us an email. It's really quick. I'll just read it. It says Kennebec and Somerset now have Axon instead of share file. It's transformative. We have automatic transcripts of videos, easy video editing for trial exhibits, and speed. Every video launches faster than I can take a breath, unlimited storage, and it's considerably easier for law enforcement to upload their discovery depending on their system. For some, it's automatic. So that's Axon. There's also NICE. I think their company is like NICE Justice or NICE Evidence.
And ICE.
Yeah, it's an acronym for something, but I don't know what it stands for. So we have demos set up with both of them. NICE is actually doing a demo for all the district attorney's offices in the whole state on August 12th at 3. I sent some things, but then they just sent me an email yesterday, so I printed out copies for all of you. So if any of you have the time or interest to log in, that would probably be helpful. We don't have Axon's date yet, we're still setting it up, but I think that for the price that ShareFile is going to be, it doesn't make sense to not move to something that's gonna be easier for us and law enforcement. And that's not even, I mean, defense attorneys have a major problem with it, but we also have the issue of the people in the jail, and I know they have tried to get the DA's office to be a little bit more helpful in facilitating video, because they can't be downloading video either, all the time. People need to have access to their discovery, and what our practice is right now is if someone's in the jail and they don't have a lawyer yet, or they don't have a lawyer and they're not gonna qualify, we just send them their physical discovery, like their police reports, but they don't have access to their media until they have a lawyer, because it's just not, we just can't do it.
So would these systems integrate both the video and the reports?
Yes, and so it would put everything in one spot. It would also make it so you don't have to download it. You can just log in and look at it. And the other big thing is that it puts all of the videos into one format. So one major issue right now is that we've got Walmart store video, we've got Ring camera, we've got, every police department has a different body cam type, and they all take different players. And it's just a nightmare trying to navigate like how to play what. This puts everything into one video format.
And that's under the Axon company?
I think they're both pretty much the same, Axon and NICE. They both do the same things, basically.
Is anybody using NICE right now?
No, so I met the NICE people at the conference that I went to in DC, and
Unintended.
this is so crazy. This is really quick. So I met this guy at the conference. He was like repping NICE, and he was super nice, and he was like telling me all about it. And I came back, I was like, we've got to get this, but I didn't know that the share file cost was increasing yet. So then the share file price increased, and all the offices are really talking about what are we going to do. And so we reached out to him, and they're sponsoring the prosecutors conference for like, they gave us like 10 grand for the conference. So that's why they're getting a webinar with all of us.
When is your conference taking place?
In October,
Okay,
yes.
because the commissioners are meeting in September. And I'm wondering whether there would be value in educating
Yes.
the commissioners, so.
Our demos will take place before our prosecutors conference.
And that's fine, but I'm just thinking that
For the commissioners,
for the folks who are going to decide yay or nay on spending money, it might be helpful. So maybe you can get me a contact so we can
Yes,
invite
definitely.
them.
I have
We've
their
reached out
contact
to Axon, I haven't heard back from them yet, but this might be another opportunity
that
that,
we could compare the two.
Yes,
at our-
they're really responsive, and
Yeah.
they've been great to deal with, and like they set up this thing for every office, and I'm excited. I mean, another big thing that it would help with is like a lot of times certain things in video are inadmissible, but the rest of the video is admissible. So for example, one thing that happens a lot is like the officer will make a mistake on the breath test in an OUI, and then the breath test is inadmissible, and so we can't mention the test. So right now, we're just trying to like basically turn the volume down during trial so that the jury doesn't hear it, and it always gets screwed up, and then you're in this big problem. And this just, you put in the timestamps and it just like automatically does it for you. So that would be good. And it also seems to have some stuff that it uses AI to make connections that law enforcement or prosecutors otherwise might not. Like it can go through the discovery and recognize like, okay, this street address is coming up a lot. So it's definitely a lot better than what we have now.
So you know what our overriding question is going to be.
Yeah, have you formulated a cost
So
differential between the two?
when this first started to come up, like months ago, I remember being on an email chain statewide that said that it was gonna take the price statewide from whatever it is, I think it was like $60,000 or $70,000 to like $400,000. But that was statewide, so for us, what I have heard from the office manager who is on one of the committees that is working on e-filing and all that, she thinks that it would double the price from
Of what we are currently.
20, yeah.
of what the new cost of share file would be. She thinks it will be probably double, but I don't know that for sure, but I mean, I trust her judgment, that's what she said.
So I guess one of the other questions that I would have is, are there discussions going on with some of the other law enforcement agencies so that, like we did this with the I Am Responding program back
Right.
a number of years ago. We paid the county price to subsidize the cost for many municipalities. And I think we have 11 municipalities and probably a couple associated with the tribe and the university.
There's a couple ways. So one thing, I think the more districts that get on board, like district attorney's offices that get on board with one particular either Axon or NICE, I think the price will go down. But I don't know about Axon, I'm sure they're the same way, but I know that when I talked to the guy from NICE, he said that a lot of counties will get their different police departments on board, and that will reduce the cost for everyone. I don't know. I know it would definitely be worth trying to explore it because I know there are issues with like watch guards, storage. One big problem is that a lot of the storage is based on how much you're using, and these are unlimited. So I think that it could benefit police firms, but it's just hard because they are all, different, but that would be worth.
Is there somebody who is like the head of the Police Chiefs Association here in
Yes.
Penobscot?
There is, I
Are they
think it's Mark
included
Hunter.
in this discussion?
Yes,
Okay.
that's a good idea.
If we, as far as storage, is there any, do you anticipate any duplicative storage on the part of the county, or are we gonna be relying on one of these two companies for total storage?
I think we would be relying on them for total storage. There are, like, say Bangor PD, for example, they keep all their body cam videos in WatchGuard, so they may store independent of us, but we would be only storing in this system, whichever one we went with.
So I think we're gonna need some more information, but if you can work with the administrator to come up with a solution of how we can maybe help other municipal departments to be engaged. If Mark is the point person and he's involved, that would probably be helpful.
Yeah, he might be a good one to
Yeah.
invite, see if he would mind attending. I assume it's gonna be a remote presentation.
Yes,
on
it
both.
is, it is.
Yeah, or at least even one,
Yeah.
so he has some sort of idea what's going on, and then, yeah.
And I do think, like I said, Kennebec has already switched, but I know that across the state DA's offices we're all having the same conversation of like, it does not make sense to keep storing and not move to a system like this. So I expect that there will be some effort to all go to the same program and reduce the cost.
That would seem to be logical too,
Yeah.
but then again, I mean, but
Right.
to go to the same, to go to the same system.
Yeah.
So that you,
Yeah.
So Shira is kind of coordinating?
Yes, she coordinated the NICE demo for everyone, and I think she's involved in the Axon as well.
All right, good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, before you leave, I do need a motion on releasing the RFP.
Oh, yeah, that would be important.
Yep.
That's kind of like, I'd make a move, we release the RFP for the AG's office,
And we have, not DA.
well, DA's office.
Yes.
I'm still thinking Penobscot, sorry.
Okay, so I have a motion to release the RFP as presented, and I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. ARPA.
Yay. Much delayed.
It's been so long. I'm like, who is this gentleman, this new gentleman here?
What good news do you bring us?
Well, where do you want to start? Oh, you know what? Because Mr. Maller's still here, I wanted to go over a quick email.
Okay.
This one was from Dakin Pool,
Yeah.
and there was that request. Would you mind, Wayne, if we talk to you real quick about the emails that you and I spoke about this morning? Yeah, please. I'll scooch over. Great.
Good morning.
Morning, Counselor.
Counselor Wayne Mallard, thanks for joining us.
So the email that we received from the assistant treasurer, and Wayne is the actual treasurer, it was talking about that they might end up dispersing and not having Friends of Dakin Pool. But then I was speaking to Wayne, who's no, that's not true. So they were also asking to change, which would mean we would have to amend, whatever the contract was, which we were gonna do the resurfacing of the swimming pool and the surrounding part and providing a slide. That is what the contract says.
Okay.
So if we do end up changing it, it had already been taken care of, so we will have to amend it. But now there's a question as to, well, really, what do you need the money for? Because the email stated it could be for ADA compliant stairs, but then, so I think what we need to do is get more information. Mr. Maller's gonna speak with them and find out what we really, like, what you need.
Since the passing of our president at Dakin Pool, Joe Baldacci, I assume he's the vice president, I've called and asked for a meeting to be held, and with the legislature, he's been busy and it hasn't been done, but I've also been in touch with the with the rec director for Vanguard. There's another group that has money and that's going to contribute money, and so they're planning to build some shelters there for people, like canopies, and thinking about putting in a splash pad because we don't have one on that side of the city.
Okay.
So nothing has been finalized. The resurfacing has been done and the city's paid for that.
Okay.
So it's a new project, but I can't give you specifics because we haven't had a meeting to determine. So I would assume the logical thing to do is if we have our meeting, get the specifics and check them out with the city and then come back to you for adjustment.
Wendy, let me try and recap this thing. It was it 49,000 plus?
45.
45,000, that was for the pool. They used other sources to, no, they decided to close the pool?
They were going to, it did not close.
Okay, so they got other sources to make the necessary repairs, leaving the money we allocated not necessary. So the question then becomes, what do we do with that $45,000? And now the question is, it may be for ADA compliant stairs, but we don't know if that's the case now.
No,
So we don't know really.
we don't know anything really at this point. We're kind of out there in never land.
They need to meet.
So the money is still in the possession of the county?
No, it's
No.
in my possession, it's in the bank.
There's the rub. There's the rub.
I certainly understand that there needs to be some meetings. Do you have any knowledge of this prime?
No, I know there's not a lot that gets budgeted for capital improvements at the pool, but I only suggest that if they need to go forward with the ADA stairs, that the city probably could look at CDBG money. That would probably qualify for that. But other than that, whatever the needs are, I think we can readjust, we can adjust the.
It's obviously a great community asset. The question becomes, you know, making sure we do it within the time frame of the 2026 deadline. So
Yes.
just keep us, I think, aware of that when you finally can get your group's meeting and make some determinations. But I appreciate you taking the time to update us with where it stands. I mean, we know there's the best of intentions from everyone involved in many of these projects, but we do have that federal compliance
And
requirement.
we have the reporting requirements that you're responsible for too.
Yeah.
Do you have to do reporting requirements, obviously, before the termination date?
Well, the reporting requirements for, I mean, this would just be the standard Treasury Department report that we do every quarter. Because it's under, it's small amount, so it doesn't have any special reporting requirements.
Yeah.
But there will definitely be a final report. And yeah, that, because if it's not, if anything isn't spent, and
Right.
then it has to go back to the.
Right, any potential auditing too would require the contract, the backup, the receipts.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
so.
They would claw that back?
Oh, yes, yeah, if it isn't
Even
spent.
more so now than perhaps previously.
Mhm,
So we
absolutely.
don't want
It
to.
is a strong deadline, there is no, oh, yeah, there's no change.
So we issued checks for most of the commissioners' funds, didn't we?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Appreciate your work on
I'll
this.
let you take that down.
Thank you, Counselor.
Now I don't need the reminder of what it says.
Thank
All right.
Next.
Okay, so next, would you like to go through the presentation, or did you want to discuss real quickly the email from Robin Sandow, which was the sponsorship request? Whichever you'd rather do.
What would be the pleasure of the commission?
What
Have
are
you
the
had a
options?
chance to go through the?
Oh,
We
yeah.
can do the, we can do the
Report?
PowerPoint, or we can do the, we can just quickly discuss the request of sponsorship.
Yeah, okay, we're going right to
Oh, I like.
Yeah, I think what you've put together today is awesome to see the visuals here. Is this a PowerPoint that is on our website too, or is it?
I haven't, because I obviously wanted you to see it first.
Yeah, you didn't put the percentage on the other pieces of the pie other than the nonprofits, right? So we'd have to figure that out ourselves. Like
The
nonprofits,
percentage is not showing on your
Any of the
graph on
others?
page 2.
All them.
except for nonprofits. 24, 20,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, 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 yes.
I mean, I could figure it out, but it'd be easier. to
No,
look
no,
at, right?
absolutely.
That's why I like pie charts.
Yes. I don't know why I thought I had that, so I must have added it and then forgot to update it.
Yeah,
That sounds like me.
that's the only change I'd recommend there.
Yes, absolutely. So I will definitely do that, because I feel like I did do that, and now, for some reason, yeah, it's not on this one. Okay, so would you like to just go through this, or and then we'll discuss the sponsorship after?
I think let's just highlight it. I don't know if the commission has any comments. My only one is, the commissioner's grant process probably was, not to denigrate anything else that was submitted, but for the small municipal government, probably the most effective project. My favorite is still the Maxfield town office, where, I mean, there's a community benefit. Doesn't sound like much, but I'm sure that the people who use that office regularly are thrilled to have indoor plumbing finally.
Past the dump gate, we're still looking at like
Absolutely.
two town office.
But,
yeah.
I mean, collecting the visuals that you have is much appreciated, and I think as we go a little bit more of this, having some information that we can distribute publicly. I know we did a press release, I think, back when you finalized this chart. But
Let me ask a question here on the town of Lincoln. Are we gonna go through these individually, or I just?
we were just hitting highlights. If you've got one or
I
two
got a
you'd
question
like
on town of Lincoln, we listed 103,032, that was the amount we did for the, I think the one that we did for the bathhouse was only 49.9, wasn't it?
Well, that one was because they came back. And that was recent, that was towards the very end of our allocating funds.
What came back, 49.9?
No, the request for more funding
Okay.
for that project. And
Yeah, that
so
was-
that was passed towards the very end of the monies that we had.
So
Yeah,
that
that's very
103
true, yeah, the last,
is the initial 49.9
It went
plus,
to that.
and the balance of that would be the additional funding
That's correct.
because of the problems that had occurred up there.
I don't recall the problem.
Well, there were some problems up there, but yeah.
But yeah,
Some blips, I should say. Some blips.
yeah, definitely it's because I just combined the amount of awards, like if someone had 2 awards or 3 awards over the period of time, then I just combined all of that funding together in one.
yeah,
But
maybe,
it could have been like 2 or 3 projects, same with like, say, Panquist or something, where we
Right.
gave them, $1 million for this, $2 million for that. I just gave the grand total. I think we also, I sent you something that broke that out better as well, so that you could see what the different projects were and where they stood.
I know you came on a little late, Commissioner Trumbull. I think most of the multiple grants might have come out of District 3.
I think so, yeah, so I heard that.
They were very well and
Someone
wisely,
was quite
wisely
tenacious,
invested.
yes.
Wisely invested.
But it was very rewarding to, I think, many of us to see the direct benefit to our communities with some of these smaller grant programs that were simpler for
And
people to apply.
very difficult for them to receive grants from other sources.
Yeah,
So I think that was also something that we really wanted to make sure that those that don't have an opportunity to get funding elsewhere, that we were helping with that.
Well, would your assessment that a vast majority of these smaller communities don't have a grant manager
Oh,
on
absolutely.
hand in order to even begin to know where
know
to even look for
exactly,
it? So
yes.
they're really, it's a shot in the dark for them, and this is a great asset. This has been a wonderful asset,
yeah, I believe you,
particularly to the northern district. It's been very appreciated.
yeah,
the
believe,
southern district of Penobscot is always grateful to help out the people in the northern part of the district.
yeah.
Well,
While
we give
they're
you a
bantering
hearty
over-
thank you.
Over attention, I was just gonna point out that we have had several calls from municipalities to help with, grant reporting, things, so
Yeah.
that's also been a good.
Yeah, and I always let people,
And-
I'm happy to help you if you
They
have
realize
questions
that
or-
this is a tremendous resource that they don't have available, they can't
Absolutely.
afford.
Or have time, to
Right.
be honest. Sometimes there's just not enough time to deal with
Yeah.
that themselves because they
Yeah.
are juggling everything else and,
For some people, it's daunting to take on the grant process.
Sure.
Because it can get complicated.
Oh, the federal reporting itself is, I mean, I
it's
did
a
it,
nightmare.
I did it at first,
It's
and,
ridiculous,
yeah,
yeah.
and we've gone over before, and
It's so repetitive too, and even when I was speaking with it, because there's the glitch in their system of some
a
sort.
couple of
and-
times, yeah, that, you
And I'm
know,
like,
yeah.
what? So, but I have been literally for weeks asking for their help for this glitch. And they're so short-staffed,
Mhm.
right? So many have been fired, let go, I don't know. They just did away with entire departments. And so it has been really, really challenging. So even if it weren't, like a mess, it would probably be difficult because so many of the things, like, they want you to put it in here, but then in this hidden little area, they also want it there. And if it's not, it just keeps rejecting you, but it doesn't tell you why.
Yeah.
So, yes. One thing I do want to bring out on this presentation was the very last, so Design Wall Housing, that is who was requesting sponsorship. And we actually visited the home that had been condemned. I mean, we are talking in an area that is not really desirable. They were able to purchase a building, a home, turn it into apartments, and they did such a fantastic job that it absolutely brought up the neighborhood. Like just, the neighbors were so grateful that had been a drug house that people were coming and going at all hours, and garbage everywhere, and it was just incredible what they did. When we visited, it was like you weren't even in the same place at all.
It was amazing.
What's that?
Where's the property?
It's on Smith Street.
Yeah, there's a picture in our,
Yeah, there's a few,
Okay.
and I mean, they took it down to the
Was it,
floor.
is it a 2-unit now?
There will be, I believe 4, right? 4, 3 or 4? Was it? Because she just gave me an update that they're starting on 2 more units.
Oh.
So,
So what is the request that they have?
just a sponsorship, so bringing that part in,
what does that mean?
there's levels that you can sponsor, and of course, this is a request that's going out to others, not just, us. But
This is
there's-
for the November.
Would this
8th.
be for a legacy, is this what we're looking at, possible for a legacy grant, is that what you're talking about?
I think they're looking for an event sponsorship.
Yeah, similar to what you
Yes.
did with the barn. I think that's
Oh, okay,
kind of where,
yeah, okay.
Right, so, and
Doors open,
they're
so-
fairly low, the requests, like the platinum would be 2,000. And then gold 1,500, silver 1,000, so it's not a huge request. But yes, the
Would-
November 8th event.
Would this qualify for opioid funds?
I'm gonna guess probably
No,
not.
I wouldn't,
Might be hard to make that connection,
No.
so,
No.
yeah,
I wouldn't
we
think
do
so.
that?
2 of 2, so.
With opioid,
yeah,
we use opioid funds.
Don't do it, they need to be combined.
yeah.
Wendy, this
Yeah.
one.
Well, what are the requirements?
Yes, that's
What's that?
What are
the
the
unit.
Rehabilitation, education, prevention.
I love the
Treatment.
Treatment.
just the work they did was just so incredible. And most of these people have never been able to live in a place like that with, brand new appliances and such,
See,
so.
appliances got
I mean,
aluminum
look,
floor in
yeah,
there.
look at that. It was
Ceiling
just
fan.
incredible.
Yeah, it was very nice, it was a great
Cabinetry.
visit, they've got a great organization, they're really moving forward.
Did they,
I think the commission was very generous, in doing what they've already done.
yeah, we've done, as I remember, 2 rounds of commissioners funding in that
For
project.
design wall housing, yeah, I do believe so. What did,
What was the
40,
aggregate?
no, I have 49.5, so no, it was just this.
Yeah.
I think the other one was Welcome to Housing. That was another,
Well,
one that maybe you're thinking of.
it's
Welcome
not
to
one of their
Housing.
projects.
No, this is design wall housing, that's what I'm
They
saying.
just tweaked theirs, right? Chris got a hold of you, Chris Olson.
Olson?
From the house, and they tweaked. I'm gonna
Yes.
tweak it, but he was concerned about the time frame.
What's funny is I'm the moderator on our Facebook page for my neighborhood, and he just added, and I approved his thing for that, and I was like, wait a minute, yeah, I know this guy, yeah.
So on that request, I would just say, if we'd been able to use opioid money, I'd be in favor of it. I don't see where we've got money in the county to do it. If they want to come back, not for this project, but as part of the budget process for our contributions, and put in a request for that, it would be part of the, the budget, but not, we couldn't, I don't see how we
I don't
could
think
sponsor
this,
this.
I don't think this would fall within the opioid.
I don't see where, place we could fund it from.
So unfortunately, this event is going to take place before the budget is dealt with, but I think they're doing ongoing work
Right.
as with.
Oh, of course, right.
If it's an annual event, they could figure that in their budget when they play.
So I don't
Triple
see the
Threat
levels
request.
in the packet here. I don't know if it did get into.
Oh, it's this email? No? From Robin Sandow? No? Well, here, I mean,
I've got one from Jennifer Eastman on the pool.
that's the pool
I don't have one.
for the sponsorship.
Am I missing it here?
There you go.
Okay, design well housing, mission, projects. Sponsorship levels, bronze is 750, silver is 1,000, gold is 15, platinum is 2,000, and that gets us various benefits at the event. I would concur with the other commissioners. I don't think if it's not from the opioid money that we have a mechanism that we could do something this year. But we would, as Commissioner Kreml recommended, take a look at it when it comes to those community sections of the budget. So if
Okay,
you want
yeah,
to share that with them.
Sure,
that'd be great.
I'll let them know that.
Do you need this one back?
No, I have the original.
Anything else you'd like
No,
to say?
sir, since you don't have time to go through my long, that took me
Some of us-
hours to
some
work
of us-
on.
I love this.
May have actually looked at it. I think the important part is that we convey this publicly. So
Absolutely, yeah.
that we
I'd
can
love
get it.
for people to see
Let
what,
me ask a
Has
question
been
about
done.
your pie chart. Is that for all ARPA monies? Including
Yes.
commissioners and
it is, it's
Subrecipients.
for all monies, yeah. And that would go under nonprofits, the commissioner's funds.
say that again, what?
The nonprofit section, that would be for the commissioner's funding that we did. It
Okay,
would be
so
part of that.
that 25% is for the commissioners, okay.
It's in that amount, as well as the subrecipient.
And the rest will
Yeah.
be for the major,
Mhm.
all right, yeah.
So that would include
So, yeah,
things
I
such as the YMCA and
Yep.
Penquist.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that would be county project, oh no, that
No,
wouldn't
no.
be, that would be,
County project is that 10 million that was allowed to all, everybody that received, ARPA funding.
So as I looked at this, it appeared that roughly a third of this went to the area that was identified in our listening sessions for housing and substance abuse.
Mhm.
A third of it went towards county-related activities.
That's correct, right?
And then a third of it went to the nonprofit and in some form, the health and other, like the Commissioner's Fund, I think ended up being close to,
So at 2 million?
yeah, I was gonna say, we did
Something like
2
2
rounds
point
of
something.
300,000
Yeah.
each, so that was 1.8. And then we had some additional funding that we applied to that
Mm-hmm.
out of the
Yeah.
undesignated funds, so.
so somewhere around 2 million? No.
2 million.
Okay.
Yeah, when you look at, like health and safety, a lot of those were because there were, other townships that received funding that was helping in, other projects that are helping the communities and, all over the county. So it wasn't that we just kept the money, and spent it
So
on
that would,
this. It includes all those other towns
Yeah,
that
so
receive funding for
that would
things.
include the Lincoln Hospital, the Millinocket Hospital, and so.
Well, anything that went through a town.
By the way.
Yeah, anything that went through a town.
Both, we just mentioned that for public clarity, that they were both in
Jingle,
District 3.
Minnesota, right?
They were both in District 3. Well, I admit that very wisely invested.
So yes, you are correct. But yes, I will absolutely update to have the percentages so that those are visible. And I know that we are changing our website. I'm not sure, maybe Ryan knows, when that's going through. We're not going to be using Wix any longer, or?
Right, we're just starting
Okay.
the process rolling with Revise.
So I can update it to the Wix, and then when we change it over, I'll,
Yeah, I would, if we can, I would request that we put it on currently. I think
Okay.
this is a great way to publicly
absolutely, yeah.
display what the commissioners have done with the money. I think we do another round, another presentation to continue this. If there are any specific areas that the commissioners wish to,
Yeah, because there were
What's on in
some
this
I
one?
wasn't able to get on here, like the Y,
Right.
had a great link that I, would love to update people on what's going on there, and some of
Yeah.
there's so many other places.
We could take that nonprofits, the 1/4% for nonprofits, and we could break that up in a pie chart of how that itself breaks down. If that's
Yeah,
something we can-
absolutely, yeah, if you wanted to put like, this went towards housing, this went towards
Yes, exactly,
food
so that we have
pantries
a
and all
really-
that.
a
Mhm.
really good feel of how we've been able to use these monies in strategic areas to benefit communities in conjunction as a community-county collaborative effort in addressing these problems.
Sure,
yeah.
happy to do that,
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I
Wendy.
appreciate your work on this.
you betcha.
I do not want to in any way shortchange the work you put into this, but I'm also looking at my clock, and
I know, don't look at that one, yeah,
so thank you.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, at this point, I believe we're ready for the HR update. We're back in order here.
Yeah, just slide.
Ladies?
Good morning.
Good morning. Still is morning.
So we just wanted to give you an update on the HRIS, and see if you had any follow-up questions that we could pass on to Trevor and Joe, or how you're feeling about their last presentation. I know it's been probably 6 weeks or so.
Question?
I don't have any question. I thought we needed to just, are we gonna incorporate, if we want to move forward with it, was there a plan to incorporate it into the budget process? And I know we had an idea of how we could fund this and how we, so is that gonna happen at the same time? The other funding mechanism for this, or how do we move forward?
I think my reaction is that we recognized it was not in this year's budget and that we were collecting that data to see how we would go forward, because if I'm not mistaken, it may dovetail with an option related to our insurance plan.
Yes.
So I'm fine. The presentation was good. I think it makes sense to move forward with it if we can figure this out.
Yeah, I'd like to see figures for cost savings comparison. That, of course, would be very imperative in considering this.
And I think we have some of the information on the insurance end of things for later today that may help push this forward. Because I know, while not budgeted, we were looking at it for the 26th year, but just with implementation time, I was hoping that perhaps we could either get a little creative with a payment schedule with them to have Q4 of this year begin implementation, the length of getting things up and running and data tests, and you've all done all these things, you know what I'm talking about.
Do they have a quarterly estimate?
It was about, what was it, 30?
That was in 20.
About 20, between 20 and
per
30.
quarter? And some of that is an initial startup cost?
And that, by doing that, it would allow us to have everything ready to roll out 100% on January 1, as opposed to starting things on January 1 and not really being able to roll things out until April 1.
Yeah, we're just running into that problem.
Is this gonna require an RFP?
No, we discussed that. It was part of the, so there again, our in-house vendor for payroll, it would not make any sense to have two separate systems, kind of like what we discussed with, the state and coordinating the discovery. Remind me, is there a date for a cutoff date, like a decision date for Q4?
Yes, so in speaking with Trevor in the last couple of weeks, should we be able to fund the implementation and find other creative ways of the Q4 payment, they would like a contract signed by middle of August so that they can start that data pulling from our current systems. We have to do some personnel files. We've done some, but our personnel files have to be gone through and make sure everything is in there that needs to be in there so they can be digitized and all those things.
I think we have a conversation about this coming up later on the agenda, under executive session.
Yep.
And I think that will help determine the direction of this. And, while it may not be like the full Q4, I know what they want, but we're the customer, so, and if we're going to do it, it would make sense to implement it. If you're gonna do it first of the year, implement it prior to that. Again, you know how this goes, is that we'll do the best we can, but I believe it makes sense right now. And it may allow us, although maybe not mid-August, I'm thinking a little bit later, to allow us to get into the budget season so that we can take a look at that and see the effects of all of the effects. We'll be deeper into the budget season, so the commissioners will have a better idea as to, what needs to be funded and what can't be funded, and,
Okay.
That's my recommendation.
So I guess to be determined after we have some more conversations today. But I think you get the sense that we're receptive.
Yes, and I appreciate that.
Okay. Wellness grant.
Wellness grant. So, the sheriff and I had several conversations over this winter. As with public safety, there are many traumatic events that dispatchers and law enforcement firefighters go through. and he got word of a wellness grant that the fire marshal's office was initiating. And so with the help of Wendy, we applied and we won. We got the grant for $22,500 for, it's a wellness reimbursement fund.
Okay.
So, super grateful for that. I think the check came in yesterday. We have it, it's in the bank.
Wow, I like
So
those grants.
Brenda was super helpful. She got us a separate account set up yesterday and the 2 accounts for this money. We manage it. It's not like we're sending something to the state and the state decides when they reimburse us. We already have it. It's
Okay.
ours. It takes us 50 years to use. It takes us 50 years.
Okay.
This is for the sheriff's department?
Sheriff's and dispatch.
And
So
dispatch, and
patrol-
this is for, because we just approved something like this in the city yesterday, it was specific for like cardiac issues, is this the same grant, and cardiac and those types of issues?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you're on the same list.
And there's another grant available now, and I don't know if we can participate, it's through MMA has a program now, and it's for first responders, and it deals with mental health issues.
Yeah, the Serve Strong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we part of that?
We have the free option of that because we're not in their health trust. So
Yeah.
our folks can still log into the Serve Strong, get all the same resources. I don't know if we have any active users on that, but we
Oh, good.
blasted that out to all those that are
That's a
applicable.
huge issue, yeah.
Yep. So as part of this grant, one of the things that we discovered we really don't have is a resiliency policy, which I have drafted for you all in your packet. This policy is only specific to the people that can use the wellness grant, which is the corrections, patrol, and PRCC. It just simply says that the wellness program is voluntary. We're not mandating annual mental health screenings or anything like that. Should they have an event, an infant death or something that they have to respond to that brings up some things, they can use our third-party EAP provider and get that treated, and we'll use these funds to pay for that. So I would need approval on the policy, and then we have Fraser Clinical, who is another EAP provider that we've used mostly for public safety environments because he's very specific to what they deal with. So he's also provided us an EAP proposal as part of this program. And again, his fees would come out of this wellness grant, so it's not a budget item. He has given us 2 options. One is a pay-per-use. I met with him a couple months ago, and he anticipated not more than 11 visits per year, which is about $5,000.
This is for the entire county?
Yes, for the county members that are.
11 a year, at what was it, 125 an hour after, something along that line?
Yeah.
150, I think. is-
150 per clinical hour, and then there's a monthly retainer, which is 10 hours a month. Based on his original statistics, I think that might be too much for us. So I'm looking at the
What do you
option
mean
one
too much?
pay-per-use.
Too much in price?
Too much
wise, or
time.
Too much time?
Too much time and cost. I think if we have the need for that, I'm open to increasing it in the future, but I think we need to start with the pay-per-use option and see what the actual need of those using it.
And this would be for corrections, patrol, and
PRCC.
PRCC. Are there any provisions in our current health insurance that also subsidize some of these related costs if they were needed?
So should someone seek out the help of Mr. Fraser and he determines that they do need long-term treatment, he would refer them to someone, or he could take them on as a client using the health insurance after those, up to 3 visits per person per event.
Explain that again to me.
So if someone sought out Fraser Clinical after an infant death that they responded to, they would get up to 3 consultations with Wally to determine and help them kind of cope with that situation. If after that he felt they needed long-term care, he could refer them to a different provider to use their health insurance, or he would also be able to take their health insurance after that 3rd visit.
So,
Which grant is this? Is this the grant, the 22,000?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't think that covered mental health. So that covers mental health as well?
It does.
Okay, I
Yep.
thought that was.
And I think each department that applied could choose what types of wellness they were looking to do. And I think Bangor PD did something a little different, but we didn't really have a mental health,
Yeah, it's
specific
listed.
mental
What
health.
was PRCC's recommendation? What did they want to address? Our PRCC,
The mental health. We've had a lot
that was
of,
the request from the director and the deputy director?
we've had a lot of cases between the SO and PRCC where they felt.
I'm aware of some past
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah, and so I had meetings with Director Lavoy and the sheriff and his team. They were all on the same page with this. They've seen the resiliency policy. They have given their blessing on all of this.
Yeah.
so astronomically, we've got a pool of 22.5 to draw on now, and you're estimating it's around 5.
3 to 5 a year, depending on the usage.
This dovetailed into their retention plans, right?
And Fraser is an existing,
He is. We do actually use him now while he's not our designated EAP provider. We have used him in the past for the public safety folks because he's very specific and tailored to their type of business.
gotcha. Okay. So you would like a motion regarding the policy,
Yes,
and then the option of contracting with Fraser.
yes, sir.
And that's a annual contract?
Yes.
So at this point, I would entertain one of the two motions on the policy.
You want to do the
Oh, I would
resiliency
move to
vote?
approve the resiliency policy.
So I have a motion to approve the resiliency policy.
Second?
I have a second. Do I have any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Now we are open to discussion on a contract, an annual contract with Fraser Clinical for their specific EAP or mental health services.
Right, I would approve approval of that contract on an as needed, needed payment.
The funds coming from our grant.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what is, could I get a clarification, how much is that anticipated to be?
3 to 5.
3 to 5 a year, it just depends on the use.
I'll second.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve a contract using the grant funds from Fraser Clinical. And we're not putting the up to amount for the year, or we're gonna write it out the first year.
Yeah, unless something develops outside the norm, or if we get 6 months into it and we feel like this isn't working, but to me, this is money that's gonna be applied. If we use it for the grant purpose, then 9 times out of 10, we would have had to use other funds to help facilitate these services, do their budget or else otherwise. So this allows us to kind of explore and take a look at these important services for our employees, yeah.
So
And
we
we're-
are currently providing these from other budget line items, so it could take some of the pressure off.
Right, if the RCC felt it needed somebody for an event for 3 hours, Mr. Frazier is, $150 per hour. He probably had a rate that he charged them. I know he is the highly preferred option when it comes to dealing with these events, so yeah.
Yeah, and based on Mr. Frazier's original statistics of about 11 visits a year that he's currently doing, to Scott's point, should we get into December and I think we're already requesting 8 or 9 visits, I'm happy to come and update you and maybe look at option 2 as a preferred method if that's gonna be the cost saver.
Yeah.
So we would start the contract as of like August 1st, is it?
August 1st, yes.
Right?
Okay.
And I think in your motion for that, to allow Scott to sign.
So the motion would be to contract with Fraser Clinical using grant funds for a 1-year basis, having the administrator sign on behalf of the commission. Did I miss anything?
I mean, you covered it.
Okay? So we have a motion?
In a second.
About a second, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
We clarified that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go.
Thank you.
Anything further, or we're good?
Thanks again for.
Okay.
Thank you.
George, I think we're gonna talk about TIF.
We have a slight problem. We don't know, we had no way of knowing how far in the meeting you would be or how much time we
12-ish,
needed.
so we might be a little, yeah, if we want
We
to
did.
skip forward.
Okay, then we will skip forward.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Administrator Atkins, I believe you are now up.
It does appear that way. So before I forget, it's not on the agenda, but next meeting dates. I have August 6th and August 20th. I'm looking at the probate register to make sure that, I'm thinking in August there was something,
I had
but
August 6th and
I
20th on
think
my
you
calendar.
had something in the afternoon on one of those dates. But I think when we started early enough, it shouldn't be a problem.
Correct.
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
Well, that was the other, what, are you liking the 10 o'clock time rather than 9?
9:30.
I think that's helpful that certain members that may travel further than other members do.
Like, who would that be, please?
It'd be moi, M-O-I, moi,
How do you spell that?
yeah.
D-A-V-I-D. Okay, so we're gonna stick with the only, going back to the first and third at 10 o'clock is the second meeting in September, correct, Mary Ann? Which is a county
Which
commission
is the
meeting.
3rd and the 17th.
Right, so the 17th is an issue because of the county convention. So is it your pleasure at this time to decide
No,
a week later or a week?
No, I think that,
Just on Thursday?
no, the,
Let's deal with August 1st. We're okay with August
August
6th
fine,
and
yeah.
20th.
Yeah.
Then we're now talking about September, where there is, on the second meeting, the potential conflict because there is the beginning of the convention.
What's the date, what was the date again?
The date would be the 17th of September.
Right.
well,
Huh?
I'm planning on going down, coming to the commission meeting and then continuing on down. We'll be done at 12, continue on down to Sebastopol.
Some of us may need to be there to coordinate the setup activities.
Well, also to, well, you mean for the golf game or?
Yeah,
I'll just make it 24.
okay. Is that acceptable to you?
Well, the 3rd.
I know
Yeah,
what you're
that's
saying.
fine. 24th is fine.
Okay.
We could meet at 8 in the morning,
We
get done
could
by 10.
we could meet at 7, because I'm up early enough. I don't know if you guys can get up and drive 21 miles, but I can drive
For
100.
the purposes of the general public, I think what we're looking at is maybe adjusting.
24th is fine.
Good.
I appreciate your flexibility. So, at this point, we have established dates for August. I will note that in August, I'm going to be remote on the 6th.
Good.
I'm in Boston for a conference.
That Fenway or?
No, it's at the convention center, the Thomas Menino Convention and Exhibit Center. It's NCSL.
Good. Do we dare venture into October?
I think we're on a roll here. Let's give it a whirl.
I got the 1st and the 15th.
What are you talking about there?
Okay. I have a conflict that I'll be traveling on the 1st. I could,
What month are you talking
we're
about?
talking October now.
October, yep.
If,
I'm flexible all around.
Okay.
okay.
And then in November, I'm looking would be the 5th and the 19th.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back to
Sorry.
October.
The 1st?
I will be traveling the 1st,
Okay.
which, depending on when I make my airline reservation, I could be remote. So I'll take that into consideration.
We can always adjust.
Well, no,
September.
I need to, because I've scheduled a doctor's appointment to coincide with the, after here, so
Okay.
I need to make a decision
October.
today, one way or the other.
Then let's
Okay.
do October 1st.
Yeah, I think as much as we
First
can,
and
we should do
15th.
the first.
Okay, 1st and 15th,
Yep.
okay.
And then we're looking at November, which would be the 5th
Mhm.
and the 19th.
Yep.
Right.
Okay? I made some of these schedules last year based on Tuesdays, and then in December 3rd and 17th are the meetings. I will have a conflict the morning of the 3rd because I have a board meeting that I have to be in at 10 a.m.
Well, it's far enough in advance. We can accommodate your schedule, what do you?
Is it local, can we make it a 1 o'clock meeting?
I'm gonna be out of town, so that's, my board meeting runs at 10 o'clock on that Wednesday
So you want to
morning.
do 10 and 24, oh, well, we
But
don't
that's
want 24th.
24th. do we want to go as far as, well,
Let's do the 10th.
do we have dates related to having to approve the overlay that needs to
The
come?
final budget, yeah, that's generally December 3rd, that area would be,
Okay.
yeah.
Does the 10th complicate that?
I don't believe so. And that's one of those rules, you know, in the end, yeah, in the end, for a day, what would happen is if you didn't approve it, it would go on based on a lot prior year's budget, but then the next year, if you approve it, you're all set.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if the only challenge I've got on the 10th is that is typically the MCCA board meeting, that Wednesday morning.
Yeah,
I could do the afternoon of the 3rd if that didn't impact people's schedule, so.
gonna do like a noon time, 1 o'clock, or?
1 o'clock would, well, either noon or 1 would work
Yeah, let's
fine.
do it on the 3rd.
On the 3rd?
Yeah,
Noon.
Either one, what's
1
your
o'clock
preference
on the 3rd.
let's see, if,
It's a lot more time than not, that way you get
let's
through the lunch
do
hour.
noon.
Noon on the
You do want to do noon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna be in Texas, so that will actually be 11 o'clock.
Okay.
You're in Texas that day?
Yeah. That's
All right, thank you.
okay.
Well, what's the second meeting in December? It's still the next, the 17th?
Yeah.
Okay.
And on the 17th, what would go back to our regular 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that covers 2025 pretty well.
Okay.
I'm seeing more people arriving by the minute.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be kind enough just to send or send us a
What we just did.
video of
Yep.
that? Yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
I bet Mary Ann can do that for me.
yeah,
We'll work on it. Real quick, you probably, I don't know if you have noticed, we've already addressed it in a couple manners. While I was hanging out in Philly, an encampment started to really develop across on the Wise property up behind the wall. We talked to the city of Bangor, their homeless coordinator. I also talked to legal, who referenced me to Bangor City homeless director, who was very helpful. We went through some process, we cleaned it up, we put signage up there. That was sort of the first thing with regards to law enforcement is there's no sign up there saying, you know, you can and can't here. So we've done everything so far. Just want to make sure you're up to date. Yesterday, I received a couple disturbing pictures, and I can show them to you later if you'd like. But the crew went up there to clean up, and I advise, please be careful. I don't want you touching needles. You know, I don't want you doing any of that stuff. We'll deal with it in another manner. They happened to find was a picture of it. It's got to be at least 50 to 60 syringes in one spot. So we're working on. I've reached out to Wabanaki Health. They seem to be the latest resource.
I think they do the needle pickup for the.
Correct, Commissioner. Yeah, that's where we were led to. I haven't heard back from
They have
them.
a needle pickup program?
Yep.
I think they got the contract. with the city.
Yeah, we use opiate funds to pay for that.
Yeah, and there was pretty much a pickup load of stuff that needed to be removed. It was to the point where a clothesline was hung and leaving stuff up there. So we've given plenty of notice. We told them this is gonna happen. I haven't seen anybody back up there yet since yesterday. One of the other things too is, you know, handling this stuff. The guys have been very awesome about doing it. Very careful, but you don't know what's hiding in those blankets and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's
So-
the problem with fentanyl being on stuff.
Correct.
They're appropriately supplied if they needed to provide for them.
Well, I'm going to share a little story. I don't know if I've mentioned before, but I was in Portland several weeks ago, and I did I took it upon myself to talk to someone from the Portland Fire Department, some from the Portland Public Works Department, And I wanted to know about the assessment because according to the Portland City Council, their needle distribution program is a swimming success. And I asked them about it off the record, and the response was just the opposite. In fact, in Public Works in Portland, the individual advised me that as careful as they were, they still had 5 people in protocol, 5 people in just Public Works in protocol, 6-month protocol for being pricked by needles. And the same thing, I spoke with the University of Maine Police Department. I asked them, because I wanted to know the scope of this, the needle problem in Portland was supposed to be the prime example of success, and it is not the prime example of success. So that's one of the reasons I think when we look at our opioid committee areas, we ought to take that into consideration.
Yeah. You know, and the same thing, we've got syringes and needles that are in other places up there that I've told them, please don't touch for the time being. We need to get somebody. They do have some more equipment coming to help him out, but while I'm on that, I mean, there's a cost to all this. And yesterday when they took I saw the pickup truck load come over, so I went out because they loaded it. So what happens now, where are we unloading it? And the prior load was much smaller, and they threw it in the dumpster and it got taken away. Well, this load was so large that they went and took it over themselves, so they still have to unload it. My point being is that I do have a connection of someone who has a dump body that probably wouldn't charge much, but if it comes to it, my other advice would be is if we have to clean it up to that level again, would be to rent a dump trailer.
Yeah.
Just to avoid that, having to touch it more than once and take it out. So I just want to make you aware of that.
And would we then transport it to a transfer facility?
Yes. Yes.
And those
Will
are
accept it from those sources, not worry about hazardous materials in it?
Well, I'm sure they deal with it. I'm not sure how many questions are asked. So, you know, one of the items too is that up along the fence is a bunch of garbage. And that's part of why I wanted to talk to someone else, is that in amongst all that garbage, I'm sure are syringes, multiple. What's the best way to get it out of there? And then do we just put it in containers and send it to the transfer station? I'm not really fully comfortable with that. So is it a matter of we take the garbage and we spread it out onto a tarp or out onto the pavement up there? And we, you know, Wabanaki has people and we sort through it carefully before it gets taken out to get as many as you can out? Those are questions that I have that I want to talk to somebody, you know, to limit our liability and exposure, and hopefully prevent anything like that happening with our employees having to go through something like that, so.
I think we would definitely want you to investigate that further, and if there's a cost associated that prevents our employees from having to regularly touch it twice.
Does state law or does Bangor, do you have a ordinance about requiring this hazardous biological waste material deposited in some location, or how do you handle that in Bangor?
Oh, they have sharp containers, it's a ordinance.
Where does that find its way? Where does that finally find its way, that hazardous material?
I think they just go to the general.
But, yeah, let's go through like the hospital does. If it's separated out, it must be taken separately. I don't know what ends up in the actual transfer station or you know, garbage disposal or anything like that, but I'm thinking it's kept separate for a reason. Probably a lot of it is burnt. But to me, that would be the easiest way to get rid of it, is high heat, so. The other important item before so I think I saw another tip. Oh, there's another one. You have a draft copy of the abatement decision order that I drafted up. Yep. If you're all set with that, I'll take a motion to approve. And I'll get that out to both parties. If you haven't looked at it, I would ask that you particularly look at.
Reviewed it, and I find it consistent.
There's a section where I took comments, handwritten notes. I think I got my handwriting, and from what I remember, but take particular attention to those, each one of you are under the finding of facts.
So we'll give us till the next meeting unless you want to act on it now.
Just fine with it.
I've reviewed it, and I'm satisfied with mine. I don't know if you've had a chance to review yours.
Well, entertain a motion.
move we deny the abatement request, and I guess we already voted it.
You already did vote,
So
yeah,
what are we
just
voting
the-
on now?
Yep, the order, the decision.
Decision,
Yep.
approve the decision
Yep.
order as prepared.
Second.
Have a motion, a second, further discussion.
And if I can hold off before sending it, if you want to take a look at yours.
I have
Just to be-
reviewed it.
Oh, okay.
So if we're ready to go forward, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
Those are the two items. It's not on your agenda, but I did bring in some copies I had printed off of the brochure that we're working on. There are some comments that I received back.
So this isn't the final?
This is not the final. I just had it printed so you'd see how it folded and how it looked.
All right.
But you shared some comments which we'll incorporate. I
One
don't know.
concerns the Register Procade who's here.
Yes.
She's a register, not a registrar.
Yeah, I actually looked that up. There's
I did
But
several months
registrar-
ago.
We have
There was
a
debate.
registrar of deeds,
Yeah,
not a registrar.
my wife was right, I was wrong.
So, anyway,
It's on record now,
we
isn't it?
have those, we have some of the corrections. I'd certainly like staff to finalize any comments that they have so we can get this back to them. One of the observations is I think we would reconfigure one of these pages and move over the commissioners onto that page so that we have space to go into a little more detail on what county government does, how the funds evolve.
Do you have more copies?
I do.
Looking at
You can have all of these. that
something
are
we
here.
can hand off to each department and
Yeah.
have them review.
Yeah, and I have it in electronic
Yeah.
format too, but there's certainly
Yeah,
enough sample. I have a few more on the car, so
I
that.
think the electronic format, there was some concerns that it wasn't showing up
It
as well.
Well,
So if
pictures,
we
only
have,
plus
Yeah.
one picture.
That's what I found.
we have those, we can pass those around.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I printed the one just on regular copy paper, and
Yeah.
it was very difficult to read.
Yeah, okay.
I'll give it to
Thank you,
Does
sir.
David have one?
David, you've got one?
Which one? Oh, yeah, I've got mine, I'll take one. You got next one, I've
Well,
got one of mine.
they're really expensive, so I don't want to let you.
Trying hard.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Get a little good
I guess
use.
the other issue is, I believe you're already working on it, which is as we move civil patrol to Franklin Street, we want to revisit the parking spaces and how we allocate those. So at some point in the future, maybe we can get some feedback on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I anticipate that to be, and parking is one of my favorite topics, so I've just
Sure
been,
it is.
chomping at the bit to get it. But yes, as we start to develop that change is gonna develop into some, I think, significant parking questions or inquiries, so.
And I think newer signage would probably be appropriate to replace some of those that are battle worn down there that might have been produced in the days that the jails staff produced signage. We might want to.
You mean overall, or?
I think overall, if we're gonna change some things out, we may wanna
Okay.
inquire about, the parking spaces in the post office parking lot, I think are contracted. We may need to take another look at that contract, because I think what they use on a regular basis and what they have designated is different.
If that's a battle that the commission is wishing to look into, I will bring you the information.
I think,
I can tell you, I don't know if former Treasurer Trumbull remembers, but that is actually quite a sensitive subject with the post office.
I understand
Yeah.
that, and we certainly want to be
So,
sensitive to their needs.
Yeah.
But
Plus it's in the contract too.
Yeah, so, I'm aware you did some reviewing, so if you could kind of give me some notes if you have them, or something of,
yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
if we're talking about signage, changing signage. This has been a conversation with, and again, it's been included, Brian, he's still in the room, of actually having an overlay map of what our parking spots are, who currently is there and whatnot, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's drifted for a while, and maybe it's time to just educate all of us who have to use a parking lot on what's the best use of the space that we've got.
If we need to formulate a policy or whatnot, updating that's fine, that's what we need to do.
Yeah, if the commission has different ideas on, like with signage and parking, I will tell you again, historically has always been an issue around here.
Understood. Well, we hope
Always.
that we'll take some of the pressure off with the new facility, but in the meantime, and there's been a lot of turnover in staff too, so what happened and what is now happening probably, it's good to have a refresher.
Okay, so I would be interested in the notes that you have, or, rather than me trying to stab at what,
Yeah,
thinking for you, but,
well, that's always a scary place to go, isn't it?
moving right along.
Can I just make a suggestion on the parking too, if I can just, as
Okay.
department head input?
Yeah.
If, for our department, we would prefer not to have judge of probate, register of probate, a number. Because some of the situations that we are dealing with, we're terminating parental rights, we're, putting someone under guardianship, and when they walk out into the parking lot, they're seeing a big sign that says judge of probate.
Right.
Or register of probate, just for safety's sake too.
Good
We, in my office, we've talked about it, all of us, and we would prefer a number or something along that line, opposed to having it, what the position is.
Okay.
If
I think that's,
just to
I think it's a
take-
great department head
Okay, so those will be
discussion
numbered, but you
with,
want those reserved.
Okay.
Say it's reserved and whatnot.
Right, like reserve number 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you would give each department, but we would prefer not to have
the
the
designation.
title.
Right, I understand that, but like reserved at all times.
Yes.
That's what that's the whole point of this thing, is that reserved at all times. Okay.
Well, that is certainly one component, but I think
Yeah.
there's several factors as we're seeing
Yeah.
along there that we want to be cognizant of people's safety concerns as well as parking.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, anything else from the commissioners that we want to pummel the administrator with?
About his golf game? No.
Hey, listen, all right, you segue, sorry, I'm gonna take 30 seconds here, but, so last night, I haven't played in almost a month, various reasons. Under par, my first time ever, it was only 9 holes, but first 9-hole section. When I go around, I don't have time to play 18 in one, but,
What the administrator failed to point out, it was putt-putt he was talking about.
because if you've ever played golf and you've had success, you know damn well the next time you go out, it's gonna be crap.
Yeah.
I'll be 10 or 12 over next time, but, yeah.
I'm gonna be there with you, with the counter.
Which again goes to the reason I don't really play golf. But
There you go.
moving back in our agenda to the TIP committee, I believe everyone is congregated, you're ready to roll?
We have a whole full group if you're ready.
Please, come before the board.
It looks like members of the city council.
I'll let the committee know that they've given us really comfortable seats, so I'm trying to hurry us up out of here.
Yeah, we should look about getting some padding in that thing.
Slide it.
After they've been sitting back
Thank you.
Those are great recommendations.
Sit by me, I don't.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate the opportunity to come back and review all the things we talked about back on the May 6th, I think it was.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the opportunity to come back and talk about that. Before we get into the laundry of today's agenda, we really need to make a final decision on what we're gonna do with the town of Patton ambulance service and their request for our assistance to grant money to purchase a one-ton truck to pull the trailer that we helped them with some time ago. We discussed many options last time we were here. It was a long topic of conversation when the TIF committee met and we reviewed it the first time. So I don't think I'm going out on a limb here, but the committee already agreed to pay them the $28,112, which is 60% of the ask they were looking for. And then we added the caveat of the CPI increase for 3 years, no greater than a CPI increase for 3 years. And they can't accept that because they're currently reviewing their true cost of the ambulance service, and they may or may not be able to keep it within a CPI increase. So they've had to refuse the grant request. We talked about our options last time. There were several. I won't go through them all. I think our recommendation, as we sit here, is that we continue, because their application, we didn't ask them in their application anything to escrow money or lease anything or do anything else. So to keep it straight up, we either need to approve the 28,000 without the CPI increase for the next 3 years in the contract, or they're gonna have to refuse the whole thing. So our recommendation, my recommendation would be, because it was the first attempt that we had at trying to control the contract cost, I'd like to see us change the motion to award the $28,112, and without the CPI cap for the 3-year contract.
And the cap was related to the ambulance service contract.
Ambulance service that we hire them to do. That way it puts this thing, they can get the truck ordered, they can continue to do what they applied to do. If we move forward, and you'll see a lot of this in some of the recommendations, you'll see what, as we move forward, if we change the TIF program, that's the time to throw some of these caveats into our grants.
I think that makes sense, I'm fine with it going this way. And I think they've been reasonable with the increase, I don't think they're gonna gouge us on any increases, that might be 4 or 4.5%, so I think they just couldn't commit to the 3%.
Yeah, and I respect that, we're coming into this at a point where we've not always had boundaries, so. Commissioner Marshall, comments, thoughts?
No, I'm comfortable with George's recommendation.
Okay, so the motion then would be to approve the 28,112
With no,
with no associated.
right.
But just a question, we already, when we first approved it, was with the condition of the 3%?
Exactly.
Okay, so I would second the motion.
Okay, so we have first and second, further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, that's good housekeeping, we got that off the table, and they'll appreciate it greatly. Now, when we left here the last time on the 6th, there were a lot of questions. We tried to put those questions in a form that we could all address. And we had a long talk about most every one of these situations. So I don't know exactly how you want to approach these, take each recommendation at a time. The first recommendation would be, should the TIF funds be used throughout the entire county, including organized towns? And the TIF committee recommended that we follow the legal assistance of Redmond and Winchell.
George, do you have a copy, do you have a printed copy of, I know you sent us I have it on my tablet, yeah. Okay, you have one of these?
Did you get the list of recommendations?
It's not in the packet.
It's not in the packet.
I have it on we got it on the,
We sent it in,
we
sent it in the package.
Email.
yeah, these will
So
very
you
well
can-
file, actually.
Without a copy, you're not gonna be able to follow it on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Scott, you got one?
I'm good.
Okay. So the TIF committee,
Yeah.
I think we're ready to proceed now.
Yep, go ahead.
Should TIF funds be used throughout the entire county, including organized towns, and we recommend that based on the legal review by Redmond Winchell, the funds should continue to be used in a manner that supports UT residents. And that was unanimous. Average annual payout over 9 years is about $280,000. Should we develop a maximum yearly payout? We recommend business as usual, as for us putting maximum spending each year, maximum spent each year. The committee was unanimous in not capping the maximum amount that can be spent. Should we use the interest generated each year separate from base funds? The committee recommends keeping the interest with base funds and continuing to spend interest money in line with TIF. Should we offer grants to for-profit applications? We unanimously recommend not to offer grants to for-profit. Although we may have already passed that Rubicon, huh?
Possible.
Okay. Going forward, though, we're looking in the windshield, not the rearview mirror here. Should we offer loans to for-profit or non-profit? Unanimously, don't want to be involved in loans for anyone, anytime, anyhow. Should we set a maximum percentage of any project we will fund? Recommends we not fully fund any project that is presented to us, but further discussion will determine as to what percentage of the project.
Is that to be on a case-by-case basis?
Yes.
Okay, I'm assuming that's what you indicated there.
Should we also recommend that we add to the application, we do not provide 100% funding? I think that makes a lot of sense.
They avoid some applications.
Should we tie any grant money to an extension of a contract if the applicant has a current contract with us? Committee recommends obtaining the legal opinion to ensure this action complies with TIF rules. Additionally, include a section in the TIF application on the signature page that warns of that possibility. Should we set minimum and maximums to be given out as scholarships? Committee will require additional research and information before making any recommendations. So we've summarized it. Are there any particular points the committee would like to highlight?
I think the not doing loans, not being involved in loans deserves some conversation. From our point of view, it was going to add quite a lot of work to all of us, change our contract with Mainstream Finance
Greatly.
And being that we have a lot of banking experience on the board, we were very grateful to hear that we might not even qualify without further certifications and qualifications.
You mean the TIF committee itself would not
The
qualify
committee,
to issue?
Yeah, to make a loan. And I'm sure I've missed some points there.
The confidentiality piece would really need to be addressed.
What was that?
There's a fair bit of confidentiality with the information you'd be handling. That we would need to conform with statutes.
Any others?
Well, I was just going to say the consumer protection laws, there's a variety of consumer protection laws that must be adhered to. We have to be schooled in them. We have to be schooled in them on a yearly basis. We have to have certifications that we have been. And as mentioned is the fact that, consumer protection, privacy protection, we couldn't share with you a lot of information because you have not had that training. You have not had that. We could not share that with you. And again, is the department equipped to, handle collection of loan? No, they're not. And again, so it just becomes something that I don't think we even want to venture into.
Any one of those would be a preclusion to endeavor to seek this program. Altogether, it's a no-no.
So I missed this meeting, and it seems, because we've had this discussion before, but is the effort of the committee to simply have the commissioners remove any consideration of loans whatsoever? I mean, to put that to rest? Because it seems like it's a really bad road to travel, we all agree to, and...
We would take that out of the actual TIF application process.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get out of this, like what is, because we've talked about this for
The current process
many times.
makes that there's an availability.
There's an availability to apply for a loan, and so far in 9 on 10 years, not a single person has wanted to apply for a loan.
Well, your loan application form should reflect that and do away with it.
We'll take away that with your blessing.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping to do, is get to a standard grant program.
Exactly.
My only concern is when we get into equipment, particularly public safety equipment, there's always a constant need for that. And if an entity, we ran into this, I think, in Kingfield, where we, well-intentioned, provided money for equipment, and there was no, thank you, there was no recourse for us to capture any of that money back when they kind of went defunct, right?
I think that's part of the language in the contract getting changed, like with the one we just talked about, trying to put a 3-year cap on the the increases, there needs to be language added to our contract that reflects if we follow through with approving this request, you know, there has to be some sort of recourse, whether it's 2-year, 3-year, 5-year, however long you want to set that. But there needs to be, we need to prepare or pre-warn the individuals applying. We can't just add that to our decision. That needs to be, they need to be aware that, okay, if this is approved, they're going to expect either repayment back if we terminate a contract that, you know, like we said, doesn't have any increases. If there's going to be changes to, or the conditions of the approval, if you will.
So if we approve these today, as you recommend, you will come back and you'll revisit your requirement thing and clean up the language necessary and submit that, I assume,
Yes,
so it would be a 2-step process.
right.
Authorization and
Right.
clean up.
We've already got to add and take away the loan language in the application, add, you know, the piece where we're not gonna do 100% of the funding.
Yeah.
So this would just be in addition to making that application more current.
We've changed the application, and there's a tutorial that goes with the application. You'd have to change some of that. It tells people how to fill out the
I
application.
looked at that application form, it's quite a
It's
process
done
by the federal government.
Well,
It's
somebody
not-
else made up the application.
It's not as bad as the opioid application for the state.
But it's thorough and
Very
it's complete, and it's worked well for us up to this point. So
Very thorough.
we'll just have to make some changes to the application and the tutorial of the application.
I have a couple of quick questions, if I could.
Sure.
Was there any discussion, again, on this meeting, any discussion about, we had talked, you and I talked, about level, like a level of a project, would this certain level percentage of funding
I don't
Was
think there
that-
was any decision made to that, just because of the case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Where you've got certain organizations or fire EMS that need more than 90%, or they need more. So we may not do
if you're
100, but we
comfortable?
may do 95, or may do 90 instead of 80. So if we set a
Right.
parameter and it has to be met and they can't,
You policy yourself right up against the wall.
we're gonna be making exceptions, just like we did the first
Right, okay.
agreement. So,
Second question was regards to talking about, some sort of, teeth when, in these contracts, ownership. George and I have talked a little bit about this, that when it comes to, say we've got, like with this truck, is there a benefit to the county just buying the truck outright, retaining ownership, leasing it, or in some, small scale level, to the town of Patton, or doing this in the future?
again, you've got the management piece. You have the staffing to administer all of that and monitor it and take care of that, or, that's the other. It's straightforward when it's a grant and it's either fully approved or not, so I think that trying to keep it simple.
Keeping it simple is right. What, just for me, from my perspective, what I'm hearing is, and if the committee is fine with it, then I'm okay, but, seems to me the loan was a big contention, but not a lot of change. And we talk about, we've talked to great lengths about extending these funds, about making these funds work as long as we can. And I just don't see where we've kind of, and not that that's necessarily your role, but something for the commission to consider, that eventually these funds run out. And if there isn't a way to try to help guide or control that on any level, then that's what will happen. But if the committee that's kind of where if this is the first step towards reaching what you're hoping to is a better working parameters with the commission, then, we'll just go from there.
And I think too, leaving it open to the case-by-case basis was important, even though it doesn't add clarity, it's important because of what's coming, for requests. How many times does the same group get to come to the well, so to speak?
Right.
We don't want to set a limit on that. If there's a true need, there's a true need, and it will be vetted in the process of getting together, I
As
think.
long as the committee is, in my opinion, as long as the committee is aware of it and willing to accept that, then,
Well,
Anybody else I welcome there?
One big thing we need to throw on the table here is this volunteer committee, when we first started this, we were given 100% requests. But as a group, we've come together to say that that money's not gonna last if we don't change our ways. And now everybody has to have, first of all, what you call skin in the game, but not just that, but we're also not paying as much. We're not paying 100% of any request, which we have in the past.
Yeah.
Like the dam, for the very first thing we put out was 100% of what they needed.
Like I said, it's just in all the conversations and my contributions and listening to this group and what I'm hearing today, if you're now comfortable with this, and I'm just putting in my 2 cents.
Well, I think that's important, because I know what you talked about, can we make the funds last a little longer? I know when we first got the funds, it was a windfall, it's like, we knew they wouldn't last forever, but lately we've had more talks about, can we extend the life of the funds? I think that, I appreciate the work that went into these, I agree with almost all, I'm still not sold completely, and I know we haven't had any loan requests, but I think it's because, why would you request a loan if you get a grant and not have to repay a loan? But I think, I'd like to get just some weigh-in from Redmond or somebody saying, yeah, really, it's beyond the scope of what the county can do, what the TIP committee can do doing a loan. It seems to me like it wouldn't be that hard to have somebody as a fiscal agent for the county. If it would, and I think we could, that's a way we'd really extend the life of it. I'd just like to get another stamp saying, no, it's a pain, you don't want to do loans. So, but other than that, I'm on board with all these requests, all these recommendations.
Rather than establish artificial, an attempt to do that, an artificial limit by the commission, I think I defer to your collective conservative fiduciary responsibility. You know what's at play here, and you more than we do. So we're gonna rely on your judgment. I'm willing to rely on your judgment on these things when it comes to this.
We handed out this paper, we didn't send it to you earlier. And behind that, each one of these categories is listed on a separate page, because Scott's asked me a couple of times for a list of where have we spent the money, who got the money, where did it go, when did they get it?
Yeah, I was just looking for averages, if you were dealing with caps or not, that was.
But we keep track of it in each category, so this is list each and every check that was written is on those papers. It's an excellent way for us to keep track of where we're at. And you can follow through if you have any questions on an area that may or may not have got some funds. You've got a copy of every dime we've spent.
Yeah, and I think part of the concern of the length of time is you look at EMDC, I mean, that's $325,000 if I'm reading this correctly. And that was a 5-year with the possibility of a 2-year extension. If they're going to continue to draw off the UT or a portion off the UT, there's going to come a point where that's not going to be available.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's up for review. The 2-year extension that you voted on a year and a half ago will be up for review in November. So we'll bring it back to the table. Now you can see where we've spent the money. And you get a copy of where that money's, what our coordinator is doing, where she's spending her time, so.
Yeah, I know you say EMDC, but it's not really going to EMDC, it just flows through EMDC to the Kodiak region.
Yeah, they're the pass-through.
So just to make clear where the money is going.
They're the pass-through.
75% of it is tip.
And we can revisit, I mean, that's not set in stone, that percentage. No. So we may want to revisit.
We'll have to revisit
the percentage.
In November, because contract's up, so. I know the TIP committee has talked a little bit, we haven't been into details, but we talked a little bit about just changing the expectations from the TIP. What we expect to get from a coordinator in that area.
So let me ask a clarification, on this section here, these are done by, this is done by date and check number? Is that what that is?
Yes, Tina, she can tell you, she's the one that writes them
It
out.
doesn't have the check number.
I don't mean check number, but I meant.
The company it was paid to.
It was a billing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so these are dated billings. Some are recurring.
The EMDC stuff is recurring.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, everything else is
And Penquist, I noticed Penquist was the other.
That's me.
That's our help.
Oh, yeah, because that's, yeah.
That's our contract.
That's my contract.
That's your contract, I noticed that's in there.
You can see how much she costs us.
How come that's the only one highlighted in
Main
red?
Street Finance.
Mainstream finance.
Mainstream financing,
Yeah,
yeah.
but we're a subsidiary.
Yeah, I knew that, I was trying to think what you were, yeah.
The other thing I don't know, and I'm glad there's some banking experience in the room, is there a difference between a loan and a lease?
Yes.
As far as what we would be required to do and know?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
There's an ownership differential.
There's an ownership differential, yes.
I guess that-
Confidentiality piece is the same, but there is an
It
ownership.
is?
So leasing would still be an option, loaning is out.
You don't dodge the management, and you don't dodge the confidentiality. It's just a different structure, and ownership is different.
It's a loan, whether you call it a lease or a loan, it's
Okay.
a loan.
To discuss it, you have to have the certifications behind you to discuss it. You know, to answer Dan's question about, he still has a.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on what kind of loan, you talk a real estate loan, you talk a truck loan, I mean, you go to a car dealership, these guys are, anybody can give a car loan.
But I think what the premise is the confidentiality extends.
Right, we can have executive sessions, we can be a confidential
But we're
organization.
still not certified to it's akin to HIPAA in some respects.
To receive that information.
Right, at
So-
the city, we do loans at the city, we do loans at EMDC, it happens all the time.
You probably,
You probably have a qualified staff number.
Maybe you're talking about that.
Yeah,
but you know, like, groups could come to us and ask for a grant that they're going to use because they're going to go to their financial institution to borrow money, and they're needing a
so like
down
the gap
payment.
financing,
And needing a down payment, as long as they're upfront with us that this is what they're doing, that they're going to go to the bank and they're gonna ask for 75% of that, and if they get a loan from us for 25%, then that's not,
a grant.
it's not a loan, it's a grant, it doesn't have a payback. And so the payback structure that fits the budgetary process within the municipality of the group is less because they're not financing 100% of it. Most municipal financing, you can get 100% financing from a bank. But along with that 100% financing comes 100%, the cash flow side of it back towards the group. But if they come to us and they want 25%, would like to ask for 25% from us, 75% from a bank, we'd be willing to entertain that.
When you're evaluating a loan, just trying to simplify it, when you're evaluating a loan, you're evaluating it based on payback ability, right? Debt to income or, I don't
Well,
want to
generally,
talk too
but
much.
in this
But most
instance,
of
it's not as
these, most of
strict as
these
a bank.
organizations have negative cash
Right.
balances when they come to us. That's an automatic denial on a loan. So I'm just saying that.
I know we have
it
different standards, like
creates-
EMDC, they're not a bank, that's why
Just
they
creates
have
a
different
lot.
loan standards. I just want to get it,
Evaluation.
from an outside.
No, I understand. I mean,
as
this
far
is a
as-
helpful discussion for,
As far as making the funds last, obviously that conversation is appreciated, but there could be an education piece here with these organizations and groups that come to us. Okay, so we're gonna help you obtain this truck, knowing that it's mechanical, it breaks, it's gonna need maintenance, it's gonna need replacement. So in their budget, maybe as part of their presentation to us, they have a plan of how they're going to maintain or replace at the 5-year, 7-year, 10-year, whatever the life expectancy is of
That's
this.
more skin in the game for them.
Exactly, but it creates even the mindset of the organization to think about, okay, this is something
This is the
they're
end of the
expecting
rainbow.
from us. We're gonna have to do this. And that will help the funds last, because they're not gonna keep coming back and asking.
Right.
But it's just,
Well, they may still come back and ask.
they may, but they may
Yeah.
have half of it saved versus none.
Yes.
Right.
Or,
Is this a
so it
reference
just
to timber
starts that
cruises?
thought process for them, just,
And those are that's kind of what I meant with a lease. I'm not talking about like a monthly lease payment that we're gonna, in the county, we're gonna send, well, you didn't pay last month's lease pay. It's probably too much paperwork to even say, lease it to you for a year. But the county, through some legal document, is gonna retain ownership of that vehicle. I'm allowing you to use it. It's a $50,000 vehicle, 5-year replacement. We'd like to see you put $10,000 in an escrow as you go along. Now, if they don't do it, well, that brings about continued discussion. But at the end of the day, when this happens, is if you don't comply whatsoever, or you're beating the daylights out of the truck and you're not taking care of it, as George has said many times, we take our toy and we take our toy back.
or when they come back with another request, because it's gonna happen.
Right.
They can say, look, we tried,
Yeah.
we really did, we got
Yeah.
20 of the 40,000 to replace it, or 25 of it, there's at least effort, and with that effort,
Yes.
you're more likely
Yes,
to
that's the
approve
continuing,
a
yes.
continuing,
Yep. Yep.
I don't know, I feel like that's,
That's the
and
road
it's
that I'm
less,
going down.
it's less management, it's less responsibility
Yes.
for one of your team, or
Yeah,
myself, or
puts the
one of my
responsibility
team
where it
to have-
belongs to-
Exactly,
yeah,
on the
yeah.
organization or the group.
I know you got it.
Another thing is, what would these groups do if these TIF funds, before the TIF funds? I think maybe there's a line in there like, okay, but for these funds, we couldn't do this project, maybe a but-for clause. Like, if they're coming to us, but they could get the fund someplace else, maybe they should. But if this is the only place they get the fund, we should be, I think, the last resort.
That's a good question. We haven't reviewed an application since, in 2 or 3 years that I know of, that these guys haven't asked exactly that
Right.
from the applicant.
Yeah, but maybe have it on the.
What other grants have you
Yeah.
applied for?
Yeah. Is it on the form now, or it's part of the verbal?
There's it's a part of the response on the form that they have to fill out. But these guys ask a lot of questions about what other grants were available, what have you applied for? It's been eye-opening to see how many grants are out there and how many people have gotten bits and pieces of other grants. It had nothing to do with us.
Very excellent work. Yeah.
So
Very
what,
appreciative.
what at this point would you folks like from us?
Get rid of loans.
I'm tired, thank you. I don't want to do back.
I just don't have the manpower.
I think we should probably
So
take
that's
them
gonna be a
and
hard
digest
thing
them.
for me.
Yeah. So why don't we do this? Why don't we review these, come back, and we don't need to make you come back to the meeting. We can provide you our response in writing, and then if you have any responses to that, and then, just in the time frame, if we could come up with some conclusion by the end of August, so you've got some guidance.
That's perfect timing, my contract expires in September.
We will know the firms that are most favorable to continue that relationship.
So, let me clarify, we're not gonna take any of these recommendations until you guys have a chance to review them further.
Well, we're in concurrence on most of them.
Yeah, I don't
guess
think there are any
maybe,
big changes anyway.
We heard from Mama Bear and Papa Bear.
I reviewed them.
If there's 1 or 2 recommendations that need further discussion, can we handle the ones that don't? So we can narrow it down to just 2 or 3 that we need to further work on?
I think what I heard in the discussion, correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner, but is that Dee was gonna work on, or the group was gonna work on amending the application
Yeah.
to what's been presented so far.
As long
And I
as
think-
everybody's in agreement.
Right, and I think that happens at your level, so as you make and redline stuff, we all sit and we talk about it, review it, and then George is gonna check with Mr. Pease on just verifying the experts.
And maybe the last
Yeah.
two,
Regards to
we will
loans.
discuss a little more about the
What was that?
finance or current contracts and the maximum minimums for scholarships.
That needs a little more review, but I'm not sure what our priorities are there as far as legally, or can we ask them to do?
So maybe while you're asking Pease about the loans, throw those two, start a discussion on those.
I got a feeling he'll push me over to Stephen Wagner or,
Well, yeah, either one.
yeah, or Noreen.
Okay.
And there's really just no sense to change the application if we're not gonna remove the word loan. I mean, that's part of it. We're gonna have to change it and then go back and change it again
No,
when
let's
we make
just
a
wait till
decision
we-
on that.
Okay.
So let's
So
just,
if we are able to get you something by, see, today's the 20th, by, say, the 10th, what's our next meeting? Is it 10th?
6.
6. So we'll take this up on the 6th. And then get something out to you so you can respond before the second meeting in August, and then maybe we can validate things at that point. That gets us to that September date.
So we need to reach out to legal. You
And
and I
that gives us time enough to work with legal about the things we know we want to
Right,
explore.
yeah, like he said, the first thing is loans, because if,
Yeah.
yeah.
we're changing the application.
Yeah, and I think when you come back, and I'm kind of thinking, well, I don't know if I should say this, but, because there's always exceptions, but even though it's not on the application, if there was a viable project that came forth that needed a loan, even currently, it's outside the realm of yours ability to do this. So we would have to look and go for legal counseling, all those aspects that, would there be any major objections to looking at that remaining an option for the commission if something was to develop? Did that make sense?
I understand what you're saying. I think what we're hearing is, we don't want to do loans.
Well, and they wouldn't, but as a TIF committee, just to say.
So
that
give you the TIF money, you guys,
If it was a
take care of
really
the
good
loan.
idea, now the TIF committee said, no, it's not a really good idea, we have a problem, but the TIF committee says, this is a really good idea, except we don't do loans.
So a mechanism where you would transfer or segregate a portion of the TIF funds that we would, through the county, coordinate the loan and obviously hire.
I know somebody that does loans.
Well, my first question is there any objection to that?
So we could be influential or helpful or supportive in conversations about it. I just don't think we should, if we're going to not do loans, we should not do loans. If we're going to,
keep it simple.
because then you're gonna create that same thing we have now.
I understand, but again, going back to that policy, putting yourself into a corner, this is if a really good idea comes along and, there's always exceptions, so.
You also have to consider bang for the buck. If you only do 2 loans at
Right.
7%,
It's probably not gonna happen.
they probably won't pay for themselves.
I agree, this, just a
That's what we
simple,
can do, just make the rate high enough so they won't
Right.
want it, there we go.
the simple question was whether or not the group agreed or disagreed, or had any, because to me, that would be, out of respect, would be very influential to the commission. If they come across, it's a great idea, but we just don't do loans.
I don't think we've ever turned down a conversation. I think it's worth having a conversation, not saying no,
Right.
but just,
Yeah.
and then presenting all the.
Just not right
facts.
now. Right.
Yeah, or
Okay.
this is where we would direct you, or offer any insight, or maybe there's a way to.
All right.
And we have refused, we have outright said no to a few
Yes.
people about a grant, so.
All right. Well, this is helpful.
You guys got any more questions?
Thank you all.
Not at this point. I think we got to do our homework and reflect on it, but this is valuable in the process. I mean, we can't always accomplish everything we want to accomplish, so we've got to figure out what we invest in.
I want to thank everybody for coming in today. This is a
Thank
big,
you.
this is a big change in the way we look at this TIF money, and you guys have been a big help, and I can't thank you enough for coming in today.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay?
Sorry to
Thank
be,
you, commissioners.
Yeah.
we'll order double next.
Come back in September. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. I know we've got the registrar here, but just simply so we don't forget about it. Let's approve the warrants. Item L. We have a motion.
Approval of the warrants as listed in the agenda.
Item L of the agenda, second.
I have a motion, a second, to approve the warrants as printed in the agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
At this point, Hillary, Register Simmons is with us. Would you like to?
She's going to request for executive session.
Yeah. Do you have anything publicly you'd like to share with us? Or you just like to request the executive session?
Yes, I
Okay.
would just like to.
So, and this would be for a personnel matter?
Two different situations. One is a personnel matter, correct?
Okay, what's the other one?
Promotion for,
Oh, that one is scheduled.
yeah,
That
that
is
one already
scheduled,
is
okay. So the other matter, how would it fall? Would it be a contract
personnel.
or personnel as well?
Yeah.
Two personnel matters.
Yeah.
So at this point, we have just executive sessions unless I am missing something.
I think you're correct.
So I would,
I move we go into executive session of personnel under MRSA 456, A, personnel matters, and C, contractual matters, as well as acquisition of real property.
all right, we have a motion. Do we have a second to the motion to go into executive session?
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
All right.
We'll take a brief break here and then we will reconvene.
Okay. Not a comfortable seat. Oh, my word.
Those aren't comfortable?
They're designed that way.
Right.
Yes, we don't want people getting too comfy in here.
Yes.
We want them in and out.
Call me down, everybody leaves.
Oh my God.
Keep it up,
Listen,
Both
bang it,
Jim.
bang it and hear how goofy it sounds. Oh,
That's-
aren't you gonna shut right up to that?
That is so sad.
Weak
Weak sauce, man.
So his birthday's next month, next week, and we're getting him a new one.
You should get him one of those that when you hit it, it goes, boy,
It's
yeah.
not his gavel, it's this janky ass coaster that you're using.
I know.
Oh, that is so
Isn't it ridiculous? It came with it apparently, for the $19.99 they spent when they got here.
Oh,
I know.
my
Wendy,
goodness.
simmer down, Wendy.
Right?
I mean,
Oh, order in the court.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean it. The first time, I was like, don't do that.
Oh,
again.
gosh.
Like, I
Just-
audibly went.
Pound your hand out. It sounds
City
better.
Council has one, right? And we had a new chairwoman a few years ago, it was her first meeting as chair, and she thought nothing of it. She honestly just grabbed her gavel to, like, there was a public hearing, it was getting out of control, and she just tipped it like this. That's a heavy gavel, and it was like, boom!
That's what we need, but now
Yeah.
Zach just should. Enough.
Right.
You go.
You look so funny, you're looking over their shoulders, Tony, when I keep
Well, 'cause
seeing
I
her
can't see
looking
them.
over her